You know, the magic ride through the losers bracket continues for the Hutchinson Community College baseball team. Now 5-0 in elimination games. The Blue Dragons have found their way to the Region 6 or Central District Tournament championship game, making their first appearance since 2010. And now they go after the Cowley Tigers. Blue Dragons are going to have to win 2 more on what is hoping to be a 5-game winning streak to Grand Junction. Welcome back to Eck Stadium in Wichita, everybody. Steve Carpenter with you on the Blue Dragon Sports Network. I'll be joined in just a moment by Denny Steckline. The Dragons win the losers bracket final over Colby 8-4. Dylan Nedved, a clutch 7 innings pitched for Hutchinson. He allowed 10 hits, 3 runs, but he struck out 10. It was an inauspicious start. Hit batter, a couple hits later, Colby's down or up 2-0. And then all of a sudden, Dylan Nedved strikes out the side to end the inning, or the next 3 batters to end the inning. Dragons come back with 4 in the bottom of the first and never trail again. Miguel Reyes Jr. getting the final out for his first career save. The Blue Dragons getting the win, the 3rd straight in the losers bracket here, since dropping that winners bracket semifinal to Colby. And now they get perhaps the hottest team in the conference, the Cowley Tigers, who have hardly been tested. 3-0 in this tournament. They've only pitched 1 inning out of the bullpen. And as I bring in Denny Steckline, if he's ready. Are you ready?
I'm as ready as I'm going to be, Carp. Folks, if you've ever had the pleasure of seeing Carp in the press box in action, or if you get that opportunity at some point, one thing you'll know is there is no shortage of information. And between games, I made a quick run down to grab an iced tea, and I come back and I've got more statistics than I know what to do with, and I'm trying to get things sorted out here. But, you know, Carp, we took a peek at the starting lineup, and we both said, welcome to the playoffs, Dawson Linder.
Dawson Linder, the freshman's going to get the start. He hasn't pitched in almost a month. I'll try to get that information shortly. And it's like I was short on space and time. I didn't get to print everything out like I normally do. But the Dragons, last time the Dragons came out of the losers bracket when it was 2005. In that season, they lost in the winners bracket final, and then had to come back through with a couple of wins. But Hutchinson here is 1-3. They have eliminated on just the Wild Friday, eliminated Cloud County 12-10, or 14-12, excuse me. Logan Sartori's walk-off, and then a few hours later, the Dragons rally for 4 runs in the bottom of the 9th to defeat Barton 9-8 on Ryan Moritz's walk-off. And then earlier today, the Dragons, an inauspicious start, but Dylan Nedved locked down 7 clutch innings, and then the Dragons get the 8-4 win. Let's get to the lineups really quickly, as I think we're actually going to have the national anthem first. We'll get to the national anthem. Trying to hit the time. We're 3 minutes from start time. We'll go ahead and do the lineups. Logan Sartori just put his hand around Ryan Schmidt, and the starters are now in a huddle. So real quickly, before we get the call for the anthem, for Cowley, the visiting team, Hutchinson will be the home team. Cody Milligan will lead it off as the catcher. Batting second is the second baseman, Carson Sater. Batting third in left field, Grady Davenport. Batting fourth, the first baseman, Daniel DeSimone. Batting fifth is the right fielder, Parker Dunn. George Specht is the third baseman. He bats sixth. Batting seventh is the designated hitter, Cade Stevens. Batting eighth, the shortstop, Logan Steenstra. And batting ninth is the center fielder, Tyler Halstead. Cade Carnes gets the start. He's a left-hander. Dragons take the field. We are not going to have an anthem, that's right, because we are in a window to try to beat the weather. And also, there is no run rule in the championship game. So we're going to go 9 no matter what. For the Blue Dragons, real quickly, Logan Sartori at second, Dylan Nedved at short, Zane Schmidt in right, Riley Metzger in left, Zion Bowen, the designated hitter, Ryan Moritz, the third baseman, Zack Baxley is the first baseman, batting seventh, Max McGuire bats eighth, the catcher, Brian Skillman's in center, batting ninth, and Dawson Linder gets the start. He is 2-0 with a 3.54 earned run average. He's been the midweek starter most of the season for Hutchinson, making his 6th start, 11th appearance. 20 and a third innings Pitched 14 hits, 10 runs, 23 strikeouts, but 20 walks. Opponents only hitting 197 against. So it's championship game. Your umpires at third base, Robert Dickinson. At second base, Jay Sanderson. At first base, Brent Foth. And behind the plate, Sasha Sanguinetti. Denny's thoughts going into this one?
You know, I was just thinking as you were going through Linder stats, it would be interesting to know, and we could ask Coach Schmidt at some point later, when did Linder know he was getting the ball for this game?
Yeah, that would be interesting.
And I'm thinking if you're Schmitty, the least amount of forewarning is better. Sometime after the last one ended, say, Linder, get loose. This is yours. But you know, Carp, it's the Dragons they gave up kind of another inauspicious start in the last game, which has been their pattern 3 of the last 4. You can't do that to Cowley.
No.
And you can't give up the 4-run inning like they gave up to Barton last night. So they're going to have to play a better game than what they've played, but they're in the final 2.
Here we go. Dawson Linder starts outside to Cody Milligan. First pitch at 440. Cowley is a team hitting .320, hitting better than .400 here in Wichita in 3 games. Linder's pitch inside 2-0.
And when I say they're going to have to play better baseball, don't get me wrong. They've played some great baseball.
It's going to have to be near perfect baseball to beat a team as hot as Cowley.
You know, and these are the 2 you're supposed to end up with when you start this, the top team in the West and the top team in the East.
Milligan grounds a ball into right field for a hit. He's been nails at the top of the order. Now Carson Sater. Sater hitting .268 for the year. The home runs, 12 RBIs. Just underway in the championship game. Dragons need to win 2 to get to Grand Junction. Pitch over but low from Linder, ball 1. Sasha Sanguinetti again behind the plate. Cowley 109 out of 124 in the stolen base department. They run much more than they used to. The pitch is a bunt and it's pulled foul. I don't think Sater was bunting for a sacrifice either. He squared late, was trying to drag it.
Yeah, he didn't show anything. He didn't tip his hand, and so I think you're right. He was trying to beat that one out.
Cody Milligan, 27 for 27 on the bases.
The power game is not theirs. 36 home runs on the season for the Tigers.
Runner fakes going. Linder misses high to Sater, 2-1.
Less than half the total the Blue Dragons have.
Hutchinson lost in a couple of midweek games to Cowley, losing 8-5 on March 19th at Hobart Detter Field, losing 7-1 1 week later at Arc City. Swing and a miss. Good pitch by Linder up in the zone, and it's 2-2 to Sater.
That 8-5 game, I don't remember the details, Carp, and I think you were gone for that. I think I did the call for that one. But that was one.
I was still in Lubbock.
Yeah, if you take out the unearned runs that came as a result of errors, it flips the score on that one.
Pitch inside. Didn't miss by much. It's a full count. Dragon fans already yelling at home plate umpire Sasha Sanguinetti.
That pitch was inside. And we understand the angle that the fans have is different than ours.
Runner goes. 3-2 pitch. It's high ball 4. Well, maybe the Dragons ought to give up a couple of runs. They seem to come back just fine.
You know, that's true. They've won 2 of their last 3 and 2 in a row having done that. So
here's Grady Davenport, the top hitter on the Cowley team, a .421 hitter. 51 hits, 3 home runs, 40 RBIs. He has 16 doubles. That's amongst the league leaders.
Not typically a place in the lineup where you see somebody sacrificing.
Linder working out of the stretch, checks through under the pitch. Curveball off the plate wide. Sasha Sanguinetti, normally very consistent zone that sides on the smallish side at times. Sometimes you have problems getting him to punch somebody out. on a called third. But still a very consistent umpire. The pitch popped up and it'll get back out of play. Linder got the start at the March 26th game at City Ballpark in Arc City. Worked 3 innings, or allowed 1 run, no decision. The pitch misses high, 2-1. We mentioned this in the game against Colby, which had one of the best offenses in the league. You cannot pitch behind. Cowley, a very seasoned postseason team. If you're going to win Region 6, you're going to have to beat Cowley once, twice, maybe even 3 times in some occasions. The pitch. 3-1.
Linder struggling a bit with his control early on.
He's not far off the plate, but Sasha Sanguinetti not giving him the call. Milligan at second, Sater at first. The one change into the championship game is there are no run rules. This will go 9. Here's the 3-1 from Linder. High ball 4 and the bases are loaded with nobody out. And that'll bring up Daniel DeSimone, the first baseman.
But not before Ryan Schmidt takes a slow stroll to the mound and Matt Delcom makes a mad dash to the bullpen. Delcom was up quite a bit in the previous game, so it shouldn't take him too long to get hot, but it's going to take a little bit of time.
DeSimone, a .337 hitter. He has 10 home runs, 14 doubles, 67 total hits, and 53 RBIs. So this has been more the norm than not here in the Wichita portion of this tournament, where the Dragons really struggle. Last outing for Dawson Linder wasn't quite a month. April 23rd in the midweek game against Barton, the Dragons came back to win that late 3-2. Linder worked 2 innings, allowed 1 hit, 1 strikeout, and 1 walk, didn't surrender a run. His last start came in the midweek, April 16th at Coffeyville. Had command issues that day. Strike 1 to DeSimone at the belt. The Dragons won the game 15-3, but Linder worked just an inning and a third and walked 4. Struck out 2, only allowed 1 hit and 1 run. Pitch in the dirt. Max McGuire makes the stop. And it's 1-1 to DeSimone.
Sasha should know he got the endorsement of both fan bases there, because that first called strike, he got a lot of heat from the Cowley folks. So if you've got them both on you, you're doing a good job.
You're doing your job.
That's right.
This is DeSimone's 200th at-bat of the year. The pitch. In there for a strike, in there half, 1-2.
Good pitch by Linder. Had him a little bit baffled on that one.
1 year ago, these Tigers were in the same position in the championship game as the undefeated team, and Barton beat the Tigers twice to go to Grand Junction. The pitch, called strike 3.
Big strikeout there by Linder. Way to rebound after the single and a pair of walks to start it, and he's got a big out there.
DeSimone didn't like the call. He barks at Sasha Sanguinetti. Now right fielder Parker Dunn. He's a sophomore, hitting .360, 4 home runs, 38 RBIs, 54 total hits. Here's the pitch. Ball 1. Cowley has hardly been threatened here in Wichita. They run ruled Colby 10-2 in the winners bracket final yesterday. Linder's pitch sails outside 2-0.
Carp, what do you think? Is it advantageous to a team to come into this game having faced a lot of adversity like Hutch has, or someone who's really kind of, I don't want to say coasted, but not been challenged to the extent that the opponent has?
Anybody but Cowley. Cowley, this is their time of the year. The pitch, way inside 3-0. Linder's a bad one away from giving the Tigers the lead. Hall of Fame head coach Dave Burrows, well over 1,000 wins. He won back-to-back national championships in 1997 and 1998. The Tigers had to go through Hobart Detter Field in 1997 when it was a best-of-3 championship final. After the subregions, the pitch. High ball forward, Cowley takes a 1-0 lead. Milligan comes down the line to score. Now 3 walks in the inning. To go with the single and the strikeout. Here's George Specht.
The quick turnaround from one game to the next. I just saw Assistant Athletic Director Steve Kappenman running into the Blue Dragon dugout with some Gatorades, and I think I saw some sandwiches earlier. So
outside, a ball of Specht.
You think about it, they were probably here well before 11 a.m.
Oh, yeah. They were here almost 10 o'clock because I got here about 10:20, and they were already in the Bombardier hitting facility.
So lunch hasn't happened, and get them some nourishment and energy.
There's a strike. 24th pitch delivered by Linder, only the 8th 4 strikes. 4-8 strike. Specht hitting .324, a home run, 21 driven in. That name long connected with Cowley baseball. The pitch. Breaking pitch misses high, and it's 2-1.
Linder's been pretty consistent missing upstairs.
The pitch. Upstairs again, 3-1. Starting pitching outside of Brian Skillman on Wednesday against Fort Scott, and after the 5th batter today with Dylan Nedved against Colby, it's been a struggle. Ryan Schmidt's been piecemealing this staff since the loss of Jake Buns. The pitch. In there for a strike, full count, now to Specht. Buns lasted just 2/3 of an inning against Labette in Game 1, but left with an injury. And the Dragons have been scurrying around. Reyes and Nedved didn't come into Wichita with full rest. The pitch, ground ball to short. Nedved to second for 1. Sartori to first. High throw pulled him off. A run will score. And it's 2-0. And one of the old adages of Hall of Fame Royals announcer Danny Matthews, it's not the double plays you turn, it's the double plays you don't.
Absolutely. Never more true than that one right there. It was just whatever the distance was between the bag and Bax's foot, that distance away from getting out of this with 1 run and minimal damage after having the bases loaded, nobody out. But a chance here to still get out of this with just a couple.
Designated hitter Cade Stevens, the batter. And again, Linder misses high for a ball. Stevens, the 7th batter of the inning. The next pitch for Dawson will be his 30th. The pitch, 2-0. Now to Stevens. The pitch. Here's a strike. Dave Burrows over the years, and this goes back to Cody Hafner and those teams back in the late 90s and 2000s, always been a power hitting team. This more of a speed team. And they have used the running game to basically grind defenses into the ground here in Wichita. The pitch. Inside 3-1 to Stevens. A bad one would load them up for hot-hitting shortstop Logan Steenstra. Already a 32-pitch inning for Linder. Here's the pitch. Slice foul. Full count. So 3-2, 2 outs. Specht will go from first. You're at the point with where the pitching staff is. You have to take it just an inning at a time. You cannot afford to look forward 3-4 innings down the road. If you're Ryan Schmidt. Runner goes. Fly ball toward left center field. On the run is Skillman. He will chase it down in the gap. And the Tigers only get 2, and it could have been so much worse. For the Tigers in the top of the first. 2 runs on just 1 hit. No errors and 2 left on. After a half inning in the Central District Championship game, Tigers 2 and the Blue Dragons coming up. Left-hander Cade Carnes goes to the mound for the Cowley Tigers. He's the 4th different starter. Cowley's gotten 2 complete games. They've only used 1 inning out of the bullpen. But that's typical Cowley pitching. It'll be Logan Sartori to lead it off. Blue Dragons now hitting .308 as a team. .321 here in the postseason. And it's a strike from Carnes. Strike 2. And the secret to the Cowley success continues to be on the hill. Deep, deep, deep pitching staffs. That's how you win here in Wichita. Line drive off the glove of the shortstop Steenstra into center field, a base hit.
Steenstra tried to time that leap and just couldn't quite get high enough.
So it'll be a base hit. Logan Sartori now with his 14th postseason hit. And ties Riley Metzger for the team lead. Now Dylan Nedved swings and misses on the first pitch. Nedved earlier today 1 for 4 against Colby. Scored a run, drove in a run, also had a walk. Nedved 12 for 32 in the postseason. That's a .375 average, 3 doubles and a home run. Carnes misses inside. And it's 1-1. Sartori was 0 for in the first game. 0 for 3, but he scored twice, walked once, struck out once. Move over to first. He did steal a base in that first game. His 28th of the season, 46th of his Blue Dragon career. Move over to first again. I'm missing it. I am not seeing any. Oh, there he is. I knew my eyesight was going to fail me again. Carnes 4-0 with a 4.41 ERA for Cowley. Pitch way outside. Stopped by the catcher, Cody Milligan. Cody Milligan and Colby's Cameron Tilley probably up for all tournament. Max McGuire should fit into there. Another pitch outside and a bluff throw by Milligan, and it's 2-2 to Nedved.
3-1, Carp. Sorry.
Oh, my apologies. Been trying to find those numbers. The pitch. Here's a strike on the inside corner, full count.
That was a good pitch after the last two missed outside, and you come inside. Catches the inside corner. The batter really plays with their eyes when it's that different than what they'd been seeing.
There's the payoff. Foul off to the right. I misspoke a moment ago. Cade Carnes, no record with 5 starts with the 4.41 ERA. Carnes worked 32 2/3 innings, allowed 27 hits, 18 runs. He has struck out 38 and walked 11. Bluff moved to first. He was off the back before he made the move. That's not a balk. People are saying, why, you're not supposed to be able to fake from first, but if you're off the rubber, you can do so. Once again, the 3-2. High ball 4. Dragons get their first 2 batters aboard. Now Zane Schmidt. Zane's had a tremendous season, but he's 0 for 8 in 2 games against Cowley.
I'm going to put you on the spot here, Carp, and I know you've got the numbers and are probably somewhere in your mind, but we haven't seen a lot of left-handed starters this season.
No, really haven't. There's not a lot of lefties. There's actually more lefties on the east side.
It's got me wondering, kind of how we've fared against a lefty.
High fly ball down left field, fine, hit by Schmidt. Specht going back, but he'll run out of room and it lands in the Cowley bullpen. The Dragons comparatively have only had 379 bats against lefties opposed to 1,608 against right-handed pitching.
So about a 4-to-1 ratio.
Here's the 0-1 to Zane. Now almost got Sartori leaning.
Yeah. If he'd had a defender cutting to the bag, there was a play to be made there.
That said, the Blue Dragons hit 303 off left-handers, 310 off right-handers.
So comparable hitting.
The 0-1. It's a high pop. Should get out of play.
That's going to stay in.
It's going to stay in for the third baseman, Specht. He makes the catch backpedaling. One away. Dragons can't move the runners up. Now it's Riley Metzger. Riley, 1 for 3 with an RBI in the first game. Hitting .467 in 8 postseason games, 14 for 30, 4 doubles, 3 home runs, and 10 RBIs. Ball 1 from Carnes. Riley Metzger, now third on the team and hitting at .376, 71 hits, 10 home runs, 57 driven in. Sartori at second, Nedved at first, the pitch. Wide berth on the corner for a strike. Yeah. That pitch is there for the Tigers. They're going to be very tough to hit. Pitching coach Dave Burrows harps on them to stay on that outside corner like that, especially lefty-lefty. Good cut by Metzger, foul back, but he hits from a 1-2 hole.
Or in that case, instead of the outside corner, keep it on the white line of the batter's box.
Hopefully the Dragons won't extend until they absolutely have to. Carnes working slowly out of the stretch. Now he comes set. Here's the pitch. Way outside, and it gets past the catcher Milligan back to the screen. And that will move Sartori to third, Nedved to second. So now a base hit could tie it up. Second and third one out. Metzger's been a big RBI guy all year. Hitting .366 with runners in scoring position. Here's the pitch. Struck him out. Just like you said, Danny, Riley extended the zone on that outer half when he swings and misses for out number 2. Now it's going to take a 2-out hit.
And Riley probably felt he had to, because on that called strike earlier, that was extended out there just like that pitch was, off the plate a little bit.
Sophomore Zion Bolin, the batter, hitting .286 in the postseason, 8 for 28, 3 doubles, a triple, and a home run, 10 RBIs. Bolin was 1 for 4. He takes a strike on the inside corner. Out of the windup, Carnes pitch. Same pitch, same location, same result. Nothing in 2 to Zion Bolin. The sun has burned through the cloud cover here. The 0-2. Waste pitch high and outside for a ball. 1-2 the count to Bolin. .44-12 are the Tigers. Blue Dragons 44-20. And won 4 in a row have the Tigers. A pitch. That's lined to right field. Coming on is done. He's got it. The Dragons threatening the first, but come up empty. No runs. 1 hit. 1 left on. Or 2 left on. After 1, it's the Tigers 2 and the Dragons nothing. Dawson Linder will try to lock in, much like Dylan Nedved did earlier today. Dragons beat Colby 8-4 to gain a spot in the finals for the first time since 2010. Now they have to go against the juggernaut Cowley Tigers, looking to go back to the World Series for the second time in 3 years. Logan Steenstra to lead it off against Linder. Pitch is over, but low ball 1. Linder 34 pitches in the first inning, only 13 for strikes. He allowed 2 runs on 1 hit. It was lined to right field. And it's another leadoff hit for the Tigers. They've had a ton of those in this series, and they're 2 for 2 in this one. Now the center fielder, Tyler Halstead. Cowley has run ruled 3 consecutive opponents here. They beat Cloud County 8-0 in 7. Beat Barton 10-2 in 7. Beat Colby in the winners bracket final 10-1 in 7 innings. So 28-3. You add the 2 here. 30-3. The Tigers have outscored 4 opponents here in Wichita. They had to go 3 games with Pratt to get here. A pitch downstairs. And it's 2-0 to Halstead. Pratt beat him in game 2, but then Cowley dominated game 3. 2-0 pitch, in there for a strike from Linder, and it's 2-1. Halstead hitting out of the 9-hole. Or 294 hitter. Grounds one to second. Slowly hit. Moritz fields and throws. Sartori fields and throws. And there's one away. Moving up to second is Steenstra.
Not hard hit enough for a double play opportunity. I did it just what you did. Sartori did the right thing, getting the sure out at first.
Here's Milligan. He started the first inning off with a single and scored. Tigers with 2 hits to the Dragons 1. Pitch taken outside for a ball. 3 different times in tournament's history has Cowley come in as the undefeated team and has lost. Again, last year to Barton.
When you say lost, you mean lost?
Lost both championship
games. Okay.
And pitch bounces in. McGuire can't find it. Now the runner tries to move up, and Max will eat it. It'll be a wild pitch charge to Linder. Dragon pitching staff, a 4.37 ERA. That should finish top 10 in history. Blue Dragons now with 641 strikeouts. There's a ground ball to second baseman Logan Sartori. He throws to first. Steenstra scores, and Cowley leads it 3-0.
How costly is that wild pitch?
Cowley, when going good, just jumps on every little mistake. I've seen it for 15 years here in Wichita. Base is empty, 2 away for Carson Sater. He walked and scored in the first. Linder throws a fastball outside for ball 1. Dawson's been consistently behind. As Denny and I have alluded to several times in this tournament, throwing strike 1 consistently makes things a lot easier on you. There's a strike on the outside corner. When you're continually behind in the count, you just don't have any options. 1-1. Took something off of it. Sater swings through it. Now it's 1-2.
You know, it's the home runs and the big plays that get all the attention, but just that last sequence that allowed Cowley to score, it's the little things. It's the little things. It's moving runners a base. It's a wild pitch that gives up 90 feet that ultimately led to a run.
It's the way the game was meant to be played. Home runs are all sexy. The strikeouts are all sexy, but hitting behind runners, pitching to contact, that one's sliced foul, and it remains 2-2. Maybe boring for some, but when this game is played with those factors in play, this is a wonderful game. Here's the 2-2 to Sater. Takes something off of it, and Sater fouls it back. And it's becoming a thought process that continually is eroding away from the game. I've grilled it into my sons since they were young. The pitch. Upstairs, 3-2. My wife Tina understands it. As a prime example, during the 2016 World Series, watching the Cubs, late in the game of Game 7, the Cubs hit behind a runner, moved him up. We're all applauding, and my daughter-in-law couldn't figure out why. Ball 4 outside. Sater walks with 2 out, and that'll bring up Grady Davenport. He walked his first time. Linder could be pitching to his last batter, especially if he walks Davenport.
Nobody currently throwing, but I think Delcom's ready for the call.
Breaking pitch misses outside. Linder's walked 4 batters. And that wildness is what's led to him pitching less and less since the calendar turned to the month of April. Upstairs, 2-0, 52 or 53 pitches, only 22 for strikes. Well under 50%. And if you're there, you're not long to be pitching in a ball game much longer. Ryan Schmidt with his hands on his hips. Right there at the edge of the dugout. Linder connects with the strike, 2-1. Linder will be counted on heavily next year. Hopefully, the year's experience will help him. Here's the 2-1. Foul back. And it's 2-2 to Grady Davenport.
Challenged him with that one. Davenport missed it. Linder's one of several Blue Dragons that'll spend the summer in Hutchinson playing for the summer collegiate team, the Monarchs, and that'll be some good experience for him as well.
Dustin Linder will learn a lot just working with Darren McHugh. Darren, not a pitcher, but he knows the game inside and out. 2-2 delivery. Curveball popped up. In the foul territory, incoming Moritz. He's got it, and that's the inning. So as bad as it's looked, Dragons are only down 3, and they've come back from way further than that in this tournament. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 left after an inning and a half. It's the Tigers 3 and the Dragons nothing. Welcome back to Eck Stadium, everybody. Steve Carpenter, Denny Steckline with you. I think we erroneously reported because the live stats had it wrong. Earlier in the day in the Colby game, we said that Jewel Bolden, the Blue Dragon sophomore hurdler, was the national runner-up in the 100-meter hurdles. Just saw a picture posted by Pat Becker and Justin Riggs. She finished 7th.
Is that second? Was that? Would they have done heat races, Carp?
No, because it was finals. So they ran the prelims yesterday, but it was clearly showed her as second. You saw that too.
I did.
Ball 1 to Ryan Moritz. Mo, the hero last night against Barton with the walk-off. Swings at that offering from Cade Carnes, and it's 1-1.
You've got the live stats up for the men's 5,000 meter that's in progress right now, and I see enough here to know why that would have zero interest to me, because it has already started, and it says 12 laps to go.
Called strike to Moritz. He's down to the count 1-2. Here's the pitch. Upstairs, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
One of our recent Dillon lectures at Hutchinson Community College was Dr. Rick Rigsby. Great speaker, but he was bringing up some of the more known oxymorons, and one of his favorites was fun run.
What's fun about running?
It's exactly what he said. Ain't nothing fun about it.
Full count out of Moritz on a curveball outside. Moritz hitting .370 in the postseason, 10 for 27, a couple of doubles. 9 RBIs, hitting .316 for the year, 2 home runs and 30 driven in. The pitch. That's grounded up the middle, and the Dragons have their second hit of the game, a leadoff single by Moritz.
Second hit and second leadoff hit.
The last month of the season, Ryan Moritz really has had a change of heart about his hitting approach. where he was chasing a lot of pitches up, and he'll still chase from time to time. But the fact that he's looking middle away now has really moved his stock up. Mo, one of the sophomores, yet to commit. Now here's Zack Baxley, the first baseman. Pitch misses high from Carnes, and it's 1-0. Zack Baxley 1 for 3 with an RBI earlier today. 6 for 26 in the postseason. Chases that off-speed pitch, and it's 1-1.
Didn't look good on the swing there.
Baxley leading 279 for the year, 55 total hits, 5 home runs, 34 RBIs. The 1-1. Swung through and missed. We were talking about the positioning of his head. Did you notice where it was on that swing?
Yeah. Looking at where he hoped the ball ended up.
Keenly trained on Coleman Hill. Meanwhile, the ball was sitting in the glove of Cody Milligan. There's the 1-2. Struck him out on a fastball up, first out of the second inning.
Well, you can't blame Carnes there because he threw him 2 fastballs prior to that, and he couldn't catch up to either of them. So go back to the same thing that got you to that point.
Now Max McGuire. He went 0 for 3. Did have an RBI in the Colby game today. Max 167 hitter, 4 for 24 in the postseason, a home run and 7 RBIs. Carnes pitch, high and away for a ball. For the season now, Max making his 44th start behind the plate, hitting .243 with 34 hits, 9 doubles, 6 homers, and 30 RBIs. The 1-0 is popped up, foul territory. Will it get out of play?
Just barely.
If the netting's not there, Cody Milligan might have a play on that. Might have had a play on that. Thank God for safety features at the old ballpark.
That's right.
Mike Sadler would have barreled through the netting and caught it. Tournament director in Colby 18, Mike Sadler up here, one of my very good friends. Carnes out of the stretch, goes over to first. Mo, not your number one stealing threat in the Blue Dragon lineup. He's 2 for 3. He did have a steal against Labette, though.
Yeah. But with the lefty on the mound, the leads are going to be even shorter than they normally would be.
The pitch. Tap foul off the foot of Max, and another bruise for poor Max McGuire.
Well, he can't blame a pitcher for that one. That one was self-inflicted. But Max needs to give lessons to Connor Craig and Ryan Summers.
Yes.
Because you foul it off your foot, and I'm not saying it didn't, but you got to sell it. And both of those young men fouled them off their feet earlier this year. Ball rolls into fair territory. They get thrown out because the umpires didn't see it.
You don't have to pull the Mexican soccer flop, but you do have to show some sign of pain. The 1-2 to McGuire. That one's hit toward the gap, right center field. Dunn on the run. He will get it in the gap.
Sun gave him some problems there. He had to shield his eyes. Made a nice catch.
This Cowley outfield has made everything look routine in the 3 games here in Wichita. The runner at first, 2 away for Brian Skillman, the center fielder. Skillman making his second straight start in center. He's 1 for 4 in the first game today. Lifted foul out of play to the left.
You never know from one weather app to the next, but the one I'm looking at right now looks better than it has. It's pushed any precipitation back to about 9 p.m.
Now, if we would get delayed now, you still got to go to completion. This game will not be played under a suspended situation of any kind. That pitch just missed outside. And once again, no run rules in the championship games. I learned something about run rules and another level of collegiate baseball. I'll tell you about it here in a second. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Skillman takes the strike and it's 1-2.
If I'm
go ahead.
Carnes, I throw it right there every time because it's off the plate. He's giving him the call and live there.
Here's the 1-2. Ground ball right to short. Steenstra has it, will go to first for the out, and the inning is over. Dragons can't do anything with the Ryan Moritz leadoff single, and after 2 in the championship game, it's the Tigers 3 and the Dragons nothing. As we're watching the live results from Hobbs, right now Sylvester Kiberar leading the slow heat of the men's 5,000 meters. They have 4 laps to go. Right now Sylvester has about a 12-second lead. Again, another heat to go, including Andrew Cabet and Nehemiah 2 from Colby. And those two have dueled all year long, not only in cross country, but in track. Here's Daniel DeSimone to lead off the third. He strokes one up the middle. Third consecutive leadoff single for the Tigers off Dawson Linder.
You combine the two teams, they're 5 for 5 with leadoff singles for each half of the inning.
It's the middle third of the order here in the third against Dawson Linder. 57 pitches now.
And I think Ryan Schmidt has seen enough, and he makes the call.
I believe it's going to be Delcom. He pointed to the left hand, and it will be Matt Delcom coming in to take over. Dawson Linder goes 2+ innings. And he leaves with a deficit of 3-0. We'll tell you about Matt Delcom after this break. The Del Combre, Matt Delcom, comes in to pitch for the Hutchinson Blue Dragons. Another one of my good friends, Sean Boston, doing the public address. I tried to tell him the correct pronunciation, but we were talking through an inch thick window, and he didn't quite get the translation. So Matt Delcom on the pitch, his second appearance here in Wichita. And transfer from La Tech. Matt's pitched 2 innings here in Wichita, and they've been spotless with 2 strikeouts. For the year, the numbers not so good for Matt. 1-1 record with a 4.70 ERA. On for the 13th time, 10th in relief, 23 innings pitched, 12 hits, 21 runs, 32 strikeouts with 24 walks. Opponents hitting 152, and it's the control issue, as we've talked about with so many first-year Blue Dragon pitchers. The control issue has just been mind-numbing at times. Sylvester Kibberar lost that lead really quick. A young man from Paradise Valley has won the first heat. Sylvester has a lap to go. But that's down in Hobbs. Now Matt Delcom with a runner at first, nobody out here in the third. Cowley leading Hutch 3-0. Ball 1 to Parker Dunn, who drew a bases-loaded walk in the first. Safe lead over at first by D. Simone. Pitch way outside. Three-quarter arm slot for Delcom. His movement is absolutely off the chart. When he overthrows it, the movement really creates problems. That pitch a little bit low, and it's 3-0.
Delcom kind of looking in quizzically, trying to figure out where that one was at.
Dragon fans starting to bark at Sasha Sanguinetti again. That's in for a strike. Matt Delcom can bring it up to 93, 94 miles per hour, but he's a much more effective pitcher when he's throwing at 88 because he can control the movement much better. Throw over to first, D. Simone back. Ryan Schmidt, Scott Rell, and I have had a lot of talks on Matt alone, and that very fact that when he overthrows it, maybe going 94, but it's nowhere near the zone. Pitch a little bit low. And it's 2 on for the Tigers to start the third for George Speck, the third baseman. He hit into a fielder's choice and drove in a run. It was the ground ball that could have been a double play, but the Dragons couldn't turn it. Fortunately, it didn't hurt them. Dave Burrows, seemingly in his 219th year of coaching at Cowley. He's only his 32nd. I pick on Dave all the time about how long he's been there. Here's the pitch. In for a strike. 2 national championships, 97 and 98. That 97 team, as I was saying earlier, came to Hobart Detter Field, and the Blue Dragons, the West Sub-Region champ that year, took the eventual national champions to a third game. The 0-1, bunted through for a strike, and it's 0-2 to Specht. That's all. 21 conference championships for Cowley. They are the only team since this format in 04 to be in Wichita every year. Ground ball to short. Nedved to Sartori for 1. On to first. That's a double play. D. Simone will move up to third, but the 6-4-3 twin killing as the Dragons an out away from getting out of the jam unscathed. Good turn at second by Sartori. That'll bring up Cade Stevens, the designated hitter. He flew out to center fielder Brian Skillman in moderately deep left center. That ended the first. Cowley really had Linder on the hook in the first. Took 32 pitches, but he got out of it. Off-speed offering, fouled back by Stevens.
You touched on it then. He got out of it only allowing 2 runs. It could have been much, much worse considering bases were loaded, nobody out.
And considering that they've had 6 and 8 run innings against them in this tournament in the first. So you felt pretty good. Still plenty of ball game left. Tap foul by Stevens, 0-2. world of potential in the left arm of Matt Delcom. Very raw talent. Now, and Dragons need to harness it. The pitch. Got him swinging on a slow curveball. And Delcom gets out of it. They gave up a leadoff single and a walk, does Delcom, but he gets the double play and a strikeout of Stevens. No runs ahead. One left, excuse me. We go to the bottom of the third here in Wichita. Cowley 3 and the Dragons nothing. Logan Sartori to lead off the bottom of the third. Dragons trailing Cowley 3-0. Hey, why not another comeback? After yesterday, the Friday of all-time comebacks, that was just an exhausting day. I'm kind of surprised you didn't have any problems getting home because you should have been completely and utterly drained.
No, it was. I only worked the second game with you. Like I said, I had that series of 18 appointments I had to tend to in the morning over at Auburn Hills.
Sartori 1 for 1. He singled his first time up. Swings and misses here.
Although playing with our good friend Warren Hardy does take a lot out of you.
Backhand wear you out. There's a line drive into right center field. A base hit. Dunn will not get to it. It plugs the gap. Sartori will get 2. He's going to make the turn and head for 3. Here comes the throw. The head first dive. He's in safe. And Logan Sartori just sets another career record. He was tied with Quentin Crandall with 10 career triples. Make that number 11. So now Sartori holds the career record for doubles and now triples with his 11th career 3-bagger. He's 2 for 2. And that'll bring up Dylan Nedved. Nedved walked his first time. Infield back for the Tigers. They'll give up the run for the out. Nedved takes a shot down the right field line, but it hooks foul.
Good to hear Quentin's name come up. Q, what a great Blue Dragon.
Perhaps pound for pound the hardest worker this program's ever seen.
Battled through some injuries and just did anything and everything that was asked of him. Went on to really a great career at Kansas State. I could be mistaken, but I think he went up there almost as a walk-on.
Yes.
And by his senior year, he's a team captain.
And on scholarship.
And a starter and on scholarship.
There's the 0-2 to Nedved. Ground ball to second. This will get the run home. Sater throws to DeSimone. Sartori scores, and the Dragons are on the board, now trailing at 3-1. Nedved drives in his 67th run of the year, his 7th of the postseason. Now Zane Schmidt, the batter. Zane fouled out to shortstop Logan Steenstra his last time up. Had 2 runners on and wasn't able to move them. Cade Carnes misses low for ball 1. Some light action happening in the Cowley pen. Breaking pitch for a strike, and it's 1-1.
I think that is Miguel Obeso, Carp.
Okay.
And I don't know if they're thinking Carnes might be nearing the end or if they're just planning ahead.
Ground ball up the middle. Steenstra gets to it behind the bag and throws out Schmidt for out number 2.
I don't know that we know when Obeso threw last to know if he might just be getting up to get a little work in or if they're thinking he could be making an appearance.
But going back to track real quick, Sylvester Kibberard did win the first heat. Now what likely will be a 1-2 duel between Hutch's Andrew Kibet and Nehemiah 2 from Colby about to begin. Swing and a miss by Riley Metzger. It's 0-1. Metzger struck out his first time. That's a loaded 5,000 field. I will say that. The pitch. Fouled off to the left, 0-2 to the sophomore from Stillwater. Riley was at second when Ryan Moritz hit the game winner against Barton last night. He scored the game-winning run. Riley leaves that pitch up, and it's 1-2. He was pretty much out of breath, but the mood of the moment, he got up and chased right after Ryan Moritz. Here's the pitch. It hit him.
Yeah.
So on a 1-2 delivery, Metzger gets hit by a pitch.
Looked like a breaking ball that forgot to break.
It is... Oh, we've hit the century mark, Denny Steckline. Number 100 this year.
Number 100.
Hit by pitches.
And the record for a season is what, Carp?
139. That's the 8th time now in team history that a Hutchinson team has worn at least 100 pitches. All starting in the year 2005 with Kyle Crooks. Ball 1 to Bolin. He swings and fouls it back, and it's 1-1. How many pitches did you wear in your career, Mike?
0.
That's right. Strike called at the knees, and it's 1-2 to Bolin. Milligan faked a throw and chased Metzger back to first. Hits are now tied 3 apiece. Carden comes set, now delivers the 1-2 to Bolin. Sails way outside, and the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, the Mike I was referring to was Mike Sadler, the Region 6 director, and very fine Colby athletic director. He's given me a new arena to sit in a couple of years out in Colby. 2-2 pitch. Strike him out. The tag now applied by Bolin, and the inning is over. So Sartori gets a leadoff triple and scores on the Nedved groundout. 1 run on 1 hit. The Dragons are on the board. And after 3, our new score, Cowley 3 and the Dragons 1. So Matt Delcom, who came into the 3rd, gave up a hit and a walk, then induced a double play and struck out Stevens. He's back up for his 2nd inning. He'll get 8, 9, and 1. Steenstra, Hallstead, and the leadoff hitter Milligan.
Carp, I don't know if you picked up on it at the end of the last Cowley at bat. Max McGuire and Sasha Sanguinetti had a very lengthy conversation. Went long enough that Cowley was out and their pitcher was getting ready to warm up, and they were still talking. And you kind of wonder if it didn't have to do with some of those calls that Delcom thought he should have had, and Max is just trying to get an understanding from Sasha. What can I go back and tell my pitcher?
That's a sign of a good catcher. Inside again, that one hit him. So Delcom plunks his 8th batter of the year. Hutchinson pitching is hit 66. Now Tyler Halstead.
And the 4th consecutive inning, the Tigers have the leadoff man on.
That's not a good recipe for success, especially against Cowley, who knows how to jump on mistakes. Nice breaking pitch in for a strike from Matt Delcom to Halstead. Again, the Tigers have hardly been pressed here in Wichita after going to 3 games in the opening round series against Pratt. Pitch in the dirt, knocked down and scooped up by McGuire. 1-1 to Halstead. How many bases do you think Max McGuire saved just here in Wichita?
Oh, gosh.
Countless.
Yeah.
Off-speed pitch, inside corner, a strike, and it's 1-2 now to the Cowley center fielder. One of the most memorable Region 6 games of all time happened between these two teams in 2010. Move over to first by Delcom. That was the first year of the 4-team sub-regionals. And then the 4 winners moved on to Wichita, so in essence this field was cut in half. First the 1-2 pitch from Matt Delcom to Halstead. Slider got him swinging. Strikeout number 2 for Delcom. One away here in the 4th for leadoff hitter Cody Milligan, who was singled and scored, then hit into an RBI groundout. The Dragons had beaten Butler 9-8 in the first round the day before, and they were playing Cowley in the winner's bracket final. Again, mind you, at the time only 4 teams made it to Wichita. The pitch. Strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Cowley took an early lead, but the Blue Dragons wound up leading 3-2 going into the 9th. And as they would have it, a very reminiscent 2010 team, they would blow the 9th inning lead. So it was 3-3 going into extra innings. This was a Sunday evening game. Time call momentarily. Cowley scores 1 at the top of the 13th inning to take a 4-3 lead. First to pitch, high and tight. And it's 1-1 to Milligan. Jamel Cervantes, the oft-picked-on third base coach of the Blue Dragons, then starting center fielder.
Oft picked on, deservedly so. Don't forget that.
Good point. Drew a 9-pitch walk to start the bottom of the 13th. He was the tying run. That slider from Delcom misses and is 2-1. With Andrew Dixon batting on the 9th pitch of the at-bat to Dixon, Mel finally steals second as a bang-bang play. But clearly in. We have photo evidence of that. The pitch behind him, or did it hit him?
Obviously didn't hit him.
I
don't know how it didn't.
And how did McGuire get the ball? So Mel steals the second base on the 9th pitch of the at-bat to Dixon. There's a line shot into left field, a hit. Steenstra will put the brakes on at second. And the Tigers have something cooking with 1 out here in the 4th, leading 3-1. Milligan now 2 for 3. And that'll bring up a very good 2-hole hitter and second baseman Cody Sater. He's drawn a pair of walks, scored once. but he has great back control. And usually Cowley two-hole hitters have great back control. It's a characteristic of a Dave Burrows coach team. Third baseman Ryan Moritz back now creeps in a bit, and the pitch is high and tight, ball one. So Dixon's still batting. Again, Mel stole second on the ninth pitch. It took 6 more pitches, but on the 15th pitch, Andrew Dixon smacked one up the middle that scored Cervantes and took second on an overrun by the Cowley center fielder Ronnie Melendez. That allowed Dixon to move up to second. Mel scored to tie the game at 4. The pitch. Good pitch from Delkin, a strike, and it's 1-1. On the very next pitch, went back to the screen on a bunt attempt. Got locked around. If you remember remember Lawrence Dumont, it was squared off. They weren't rounded corners, and they got trapped in one of those corners. That pitch slides outside and it's 2-1. And Andrew Dixon moves up to third, sees Kyle Crooks pointing home. He takes off, thinking Crooks wanted him to go. He ends up scoring from second on a wild pitch to win the game. And Kyle Crooks was trying to tell the umpire, hey, the ball's dead, he should get home. And the Dragons went on to win that 4-3.
So did they make that?
5-4?
Did they make that ruling of the dead ball?
No, they kept it live.
It was live.
They kept it live, and Dixon scored. And my son Andy had a picture at the plate. If the table is the plate and Dixon's hands on it, that's exactly about an inch above it was the catcher's glove of the Cowley Tigers. Swing and a miss. That's out number 2.
Couple of big strikeouts by Delcom this inning. Runners now at first and second. 2 down.
At that time, I was doing the games with Brad Howyer, and we were on one of the radio stations of Ad Astra, Oldies 95.9, and I was told I literally blew the headset off the board operator. Now Grady Davenport, tough hitter in the 3 slot. Delcom trying to keep it at a 3-1 deficit. He misses inside for ball 1. 1 day later, the Blue Dragons blew a 9th inning lead, but ended up beating Seward County in 12 to go to Grand Junction. The pitch. Low one in, 2-0. You really can't afford to pitch around Davenport because DeSimone has just as much power in the on-deck circle. A great 3-4 punch for the Tigers. The pitch. Ground ball to short. Nedved will flip to Sartori, and the inning is over. No runs, a hit. There was a hit batsman and 2 left. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. The Dragons look to continue to chip away, now trailing Cowley 3-1. Ryan Morris to lead off the bottom of the fourth. And he hits one to right or left center field. Going back is the left fielder. It's over his head and off the wall. Extra bases for Moritz. And it's a leadoff double for Mo. And again, going the opposite way, Denny Steckline. That's where Mo has found his sweet spot, going the other way.
So many of the lefties live over in that part of the ballpark. Metzger, Moritz, they do a very good job. And now with that leadoff double, we are 6 for 6 in terms of leadoff runners reaching base. Three on each side of the scorecard.
Now Darren Burrows, more affectionately known as Lefty, the brother of Dave Burrows and pitching coach, and he makes the pitching change. So Cade Carnes will not go the required 5. He cannot win it. And we'll tell you about the new Cowley pitcher after this break. Miguel Obeso out of the Cowley pen takes over for Cade Carnes, who goes 3+ innings. We'll complete his line in a moment. Looking for the numbers on Obeso. On for the 20th time. He's 4-0 with a 4.68 ERA. 18 of those appearances out of the pen, 32 and 2/3 innings pitched, 30 hits, 21 runs, 57 strikeouts, 20 walks. He faces Zack Baxley with a runner at second, nobody out. Big Zack swings on a high fastball for strike one.
Carp, run down, tell Zack to shorten that swing up and just drive it back up the middle like he's done.
He really ought to go up with the 2-strike approach every time. It seems to benefit him. Moritz at second with an opposite field double. Pitch inside from Obeso and is now 1-1. One pitch. Zack upset with himself chasing that one up, and now it's 1-2.
Up and out of the zone, but he couldn't hold off. Carp, I haven't been to Eck for a couple of seasons. When did they put the netting in all the way down in front of the seating?
I believe it's been 3 years.
3 years?
That was kind of that whole major league proposal, and a lot of the colleges followed suit. The pitch. Shot foul off to the right. Thought I heard automobile getting hit out there.
Could have it. Got over the bleachers. Either into the parking lot or the road that runs behind Eck Stadium.
3-1 here in the bottom of the fourth. Beso being deliberate. Shakes off a couple of signs now, gets what he wants. The 1-2. High and tight, 2-2. Baxley now 106 career hits. Check that, 108 career hits. I forgot to add last night's game into that total. One of 43 Blue Dragons to have at least 100 career hits. 3 of them reside on this team. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Baxley's 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts, and now Max McGuire, the batter. Max flew out to right. That's hard to get Bax and Max hitting back to back.
Max hit it hard the last time up, just lined it right to the right fielder.
Each team with 4 hits. Cowley with 2 in the first, 1 in the second. The Dragons with 1 in the third. Pitch high and tight. Gets away from Milligan, but not far enough for Moritz to move up.
Another lefty starting to stretch in the Tiger bullpen. All quiet in the Blue Dragon pen.
Pitching depth not an issue for Cowley. Never has been. They have twice come back from losing the first game of the tournament to win the tournament. Off speed, offering in for a strike. And it's 1-1.
Looks like Austin Neal, who's down in the Cowley pen, starting to get loose.
They did it in 2004. Came all the way back through the loser's bracket to win the whole thing. The pitch hit down the right field line, but it's going to be foul. It might be playable, but nearing the wall is Daniels DeSimone. He reaches out and it tips off the glove. No play, and it's 1-2.
It was in play, but the factor of the wall in the net as he was running that direction became a part of the play.
It's turned out to be a pretty comfortable day. We know there's more weather moving in. Sorry. Tournament director getting paranoid when I hear the word weather. Can't blame him. Here's the pitch. Off speed, swung through and missed. That's out number 2.
McGuire way off balance on that one. He was fooled badly.
Now Brian Skillman with a runner at second and 2 out. The Dragons are 1 for 3 so far in getting the leadoff man aboard and scoring him. That came back in the third on Sartori's triple and the ground out by Nedved. Here's the pitch. Taken low for a ball. Skillman, once again, we talked about it last night, just the gritty mentality of this young man, both at the plate and on the mound. He was the Game 1 winner on Wednesday against Fort Scott. Here's the 1-0. The pitch misses outside, 2-0. Action in the pen, like Denny said, for the Tigers.
But we're going to come home later to eat.
Dragons trailing 3-1. Still plenty of baseball to be played. Well, Beso paints the knees. And it's a strike, 2-1 to Brian Skillman. Skillman hadn't had it bad in close to a month. Came up in the Labette series as a pinch hitter and wore a pitch. Then in the game yesterday against Cloud, pitch misses outside and it's 3-1 to Skillman. Logan Sartori on deck. Skillman drew a walk ahead of Logan Sartori's walk-off 2-run bomb to give Hutch a 14-12 lead. And then with the Dragons trailing Barton last night 8-5 in the bottom of the ninth, Skillman started the rally with a 2-2 pitch that was stroked right back up the middle for a leadoff single. He takes a shot to the left side and fouls it off, and the count is full. Skillman got a lot of action earlier in the year, especially when Zion Bolam was injured with a hamstring and out for a month.
Very versatile player, able to step in and play the outfield, multiple positions out there, and then has been very effective on the mound of late. You've got to think he's an arm that's likely available tonight. He threw 90 pitches on, was it Wednesday?
Yes. Yes, he would be good for a few innings. Probably the only one not available, just in terms of pitching, would be Dylan Nedved. He pitched earlier today. High chopper left side.
Nice
Picked off the short hop by Steenstra. Throws to first, and the inning is over.
Not an easy play.
Especially with the runner cutting in front of you. Moritz gets the leadoff double, but the Dragons can't cash in. Hutch is stranded 5 through 4. We head to the 5th here in the Central District Championship game. Cowley 3 and the Dragons 1.
We go to the top of the 5th here at Eck Stadium. Denny Steckline here with Steve Carpenter. Blue Dragons trailing the Cowley Tigers 3-1. Matt Delcom on the mound for Hutchinson. First pitch strike to Cowley first baseman Daniel DeSimone. DeSimone struck out looking in the first, singled in the third. Takes this one down low. It's win or go home for Hutchinson. They need to win this one to extend it to a winner-take-all contest tomorrow afternoon. As the pitch is low and in, 2-1. If Cowley wins this game, they will represent the region at the NJCAA World Series in Grand Junction. Fouled back by DeSimone. Counts now even 2-2. Turned out to be a really nice evening at the ballpark at this point. Here's the 2-2 from Delcom. Outside, count is full. I'm hoping by saying this I'll jinx it, but the leadoff man through 4 innings has reached for Cowley all 4 innings and has reached for Hutchinson all 4 innings. This would be a good time for Delcom to break that streak. Full count. It's lined sharply to left, but right at Metzger, who squeezes it for out number 1 and the first leadoff batter of the game to be retired. So 1 away now. Brings up Cowley right fielder Parker Dunn. Dunn has grounded into a, correct that, he's been erased twice on 6-4 force outs. First pitch is a ball. Lefty-lefty matchup here. Breaking ball. Fouled back into the dirt area behind the Cowley dugout. construction zone of some improvements here at Eck Stadium, the home of Wichita State. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball broke away from him, and Dunn could not extend far enough to get to it. 1-2 pitch is outside, evens it up at 2-2. Another breaking ball is low, so full count here. After going full with DeSimone to lead this inning off, he goes full with Parker Dunn. Delcom's going to take a little walk behind the plate, get situated. Activity now in the Cowley bullpen, but it appears to be defensive players as the full count pitches. Lifted in the air to center. Skillman charges, but he's not going to get to it. He lets it drop. Has a hard time corralling it. Dunn thought about second. Retreats. And it's a one-out single for Parker Dunn. He reaches for the third time today. Brings up the third baseman, George Specht. Specht is grounded into a fielder's choice and into a 6-4-3 double play. Be nice to repeat that here. One away. That's inside off the glove of McGuire. We'll send Dunn down to second. So it takes the double play out of the equation. A lot of blue and red and a lot of orange in the stands, and that's going to be a balk on Delcom. I had looked down. I did not see what he did, but a couple of umpires were quick to call it, so that sends Parker Dunn to third. Counts 1-0 to Specht. Swing and a miss. And this is yet another example of those little things in baseball that can come back to haunt a team. And Cowley is the type of team that can take advantage of those. This was grounded sharply to short. Nedved fires across to Baxley for the out. But the wild pitch in the balk moved Dunn into scoring position, and he comes home to make it a 4-1 Cowley lead. So 2 away now in the top of the fifth. Designated hitter Cade Stevens. 0 for 2, flew out to center, struck out. First pitch just outside for a ball. I've got the stream on and I'm trying to peek over and watch to see what Delcom may have done on that balk. Swing and a miss by Stevens. Nobody on now, 2 away. Swing and a miss again, now 1-2 the count. 1 run across for Cowley here in the top of the fifth. A 1-out single, wild pitch, balk, and ground out. And the 1-2 way outside. Evens it up at 2-2. Things are quiet in the Blue Dragon bullpen, but Miguel Reyes is stirring around. This one outside. Count is full, so of the 4 batters Delcom's faced this inning, he's gone full with 3 of them. Shadows covering home plate. Pitcher's mound still in the sunlight. And the 3-2. Inside, he loses him. And Stevens walks. Logan Steenstra. Officially 1 for 1. Singled in the second, scored. Reached on a hit by pitch in the 4th. This one catches the inside corner. Delcom ahead in the count, 0-1. Fouled back into the net. One hops over to the Blue Dragon bullpen where it's snagged by Coach Ryan Schmidt. Here's the 0-2. Tried to check his wing, he couldn't. That's a strikeout to end the inning for Delcom. So, Cowley pushes 1 across. Regains that 3-run lead, and it's 4-1 Tigers. We're halfway through. Blue Dragons coming up in the bottom of the 5th. Top of the order for Hutchinson in the bottom of the 5th. Second baseman Logan Sartori to lead it off against Miguel Obeso, the second pitcher of the night for Cowley. And as we look down, there's 2 arms that just got up. Swing and a miss by Sartori. Cowley's got a righty and a lefty throwing. Currently nobody throwing in the Hutch bullpen. Sartori singled in the first, tripled in the third, came in to score. Again, swing and a miss. Pitch breaking away from him. 0-2 the count. Fouls this one back. As Carp shared earlier, Sartori's triple was his 11th, which is the career record for Blue Dragon baseball. He set the doubles record last night with his 38th. Obeso set, delivers the 0-2. Sartori tries to check, but can't do so. Strikeout swinging. So the 4-inning leadoff hitter streak for Cowley was broken in the top half, and it's broken for Hutchinson here in the bottom half. Brings up shortstop Dylan Nedved. Dylan 0 for 1, reached on a walk, grounded out to second. Takes this pitch just off the inside corner. Sasha Sanguinetti getting some assistance from fans, providing feedback on his calls. 2-0 now the count. I thought 2-0. Scoreboard says 1-1, so we'll get it straight here after this one. This one's outside. Check. No swing. Obeso shakes off the sign. Finds one he likes. Breaking ball. Called strike. Hoping Sasha would put up the count to confirm if it's 2-2 or 3-1. This one's fouled away. Carp confirms it is 2-2. 4-1 Cowley. Bottom of the fifth. And a swing and a miss. Nedved couldn't catch up with that one. 4 of the last Blue Dragon batters have gone down on strikes. Brings up right fielder Zane Schmidt. Zane fouled out to third in the first inning. Grounded to short in the third. Fouls this one down the third baseline. The 0-1 pitch. That's lined fair down the left field line. Left fielder gets it back in, but Zane's going to stroll into second with a stand-up double. So trying to get something started here with 2 outs. Zane with his first hit of the game. Brings up Riley Metzger. Riley looking for his first hit in this one. Struck out in the first. Reached the Blue Dragon way in the third. First pitch taken outside. Schmidt leads off second. Obeso set. Big swing and a miss by Metzger. Zion Bolin on deck. A little bit of a breeze blowing out to left, but nothing compared to what it was doing yesterday. Riley fouls this one back. 1-2 now the count. And the 1-2. And Obeso strikes out the side. All 3 go down swinging. Schmidt is left stranded at second. We are through 5 here at Eck Stadium. Cowley leads it 4-1.
We go to the 6th inning here at Eck Stadium in Wichita, the championship game of the Central District Tournament. Cowley leading the Blue Dragons 4-1. Hits are tied 5 apiece. Matt Delcom out for his 4th full inning of work. He came in the 3rd. And he will face Tyler Halstead in the top of the order. Thanks to Denny for taking the 5th for me. There's a swing by Halstead, and it's fouled out of play to the left. Halstead has grounded out and struck out 0 for 2. This Cowley team, a very atypical team of teams in the past. Not on the offense, not a pitching standpoint. They've always been strong pitching. There's a strike on the inner half from Delcom. It's 0-2 to Halstead. But they've kind of had a transformation offensively. There used to be this big, booming, slugging bunch. Now they've become much more of a running team, gap team. The 0-2. Delcom misses low for a ball.
Delcom settled in nicely, really. Last inning gives up the run on the wild pitch, then the balk. But outside of that is started to find his zone, other than a couple of pitches he's thrown behind the Cowley batter.
I think that's a product of his arm slot. Watch where he draws the ball from when he begins his motion. I had a couple of talks with Scott Reller about this. Now, again, he's a raw talent, and I don't think he's really found his true motion yet. But watch where he starts here. Look how far that ball's back. Grounded foul outside of first. It just, once you have it back that far, it just takes forever to sling it back through, and you just can't be consistent with your command.
No, and your margin of error on your release point is so narrow.
2-2 to Halstead.
If you're off a fraction of an inch out there, it
grounded over the mound, charging his Nedved, and he doesn't have a chance. It'll be an infield single for Halstead. That's about the 3rd one of those tonight for the Tigers. And again, they're not this big power team anymore, but they have a ton of speed up and down the lineup. Halstead, the 9-hole hitter, with an infield single, and the Tigers have the leadoff man for the 5th time in 6 innings. Now back to the top of the order in Clay Milligan. Name one catcher from the major leagues who used to lead off. That's bunted foul by Milligan.
that caught a piece of McGuire.
And he has taken a beating. This one's a little more serious than the others.
Yeah, he was somewhat upright at first, and then he just leaned forward, put his head into the turf.
It was enough of a concern where even third base coach for the Cowley Tigers, Brock Buckingham, came up to check on him.
McGuire has to feel like Rocky Balboa did in the 12th round against Apollo Creed. And I don't know if it was Rocky 1 or Rocky 2. Probably about the same for both.
Yeah, he got beat on pretty bad in both. Second, he was beat on just because he was hitting or fighting right-handed as opposed to southpaw.
Right. Nice gesture there, Milligan. He and Max pop knuckles.
Now 0-1 to Milligan, the pitch. It's over low for a ball, 1-1.
And part of the reason I went that direction is I'm stalling on your question of naming a catcher who batted leadoff in the major leagues.
He didn't do it long, but for a couple of years he was batting leadoff. Swinging a miss by Milligan. It's 1-2.
Yeah, I'm going to give this some thought. I'm not going to let you rush me into an answer here.
Well, you know, even the Royals trivia questions, they give you a couple of innings.
That's right. That's right.
The 1-2 pitch. Ooh. Oh, nope. Was he? Oh, I thought Sasha didn't call it, but I think he was about ready to.
I'm not, from what we have seen called on the outer half, I'm just going to say if that wasn't low, he missed one. Because that was a great pitch.
Now the 2-2 to Milligan. Missed, blowing away, full count. Likely Halstead will be moving on the pitch.
So with a lefty on the mound, do you try to throw behind him? See if you can't.
Runner goes, and it's outside ball 4.
Oh, and Delcom is really upset and frustrated because he thought he had him struck out.
Brock Buckingham coming up. I think we might have a pinch hitter for Sater, and we will. It will be Blaze Brothers pitch hitting for second baseman Carson Sater.
So, Carp, on your question, I'm just pondering here. Are you looking for someone other than Jason Kendall, or is Kendall the one you're looking for?
Kendall's the one I was looking for.
Very good. Very good. Hey, Knack, thank you.
Oh, Dan Nacarado.
My friends are looking out for me.
Here comes Ryan Schmidt. Now I'm probably going to get an apologetic text from Knack. And there it is. Oh, he just sent me the answer. So Dan Nacarado technically wins the trivia question.
But I think he's already won it once in the last 30 days, which makes him ineligible
He's
for tonight's
ineligible
prize,
for the big prize.
which we hadn't figured out what it was going to be yet, Knack.
Dinner with Brandon Sams.
Oh.
Poor Brandon. You gotta make another move.
So, Carp, is Schmitty out here talking, waiting for Sasha to come out so he can
It wouldn't surprise me.
make a point about the call that we thought? Nope,
Nope, he's not.
Although he did turn Sasha's direction and may have verbalized something, so he may have just been expressing that an opinion on that, what we thought could have been a third strike call.
I've known Sasha Sanguinetti for some 20 years. He's umpired in the Alaskan League. He's done numerous NBC games, and he's always had a smallish strike zone, especially when there are 2 strikes. He just not one to punch somebody out. He's done it. He will do it. But on obvious pitches like that, sometimes he just misses. Now Brothers showing bunt. He pulls back and takes ball 1. Kicks off the leg of Max McGuire off to the right, but he gets it before there's any advancement. Big part in the game now, or big moment in the game, I should say. Dragons trailing by 3. And Cowley has runners at first and second and nobody out.
Well, and it makes sense why Brothers is pinch hitting. He's got 7 sacrifices on the year. That leads the Tigers. So he has one job as he goes up there, and he bunts
it along third. It's going to trickle foul. That was the only play for Moritz because they weren't going to get the batter Brothers, and he lived up to his first name, Blaze, because he blazed down that first baseline. Again, Cowley, a team built around speed this year. 104 doubles, 17 triples, only 36 home runs, but 109 stolen bases. Here's Delcom's 1-1. Bunted low and it gets through McGuire. Runners hesitate, but then finally go. That'll be a wild pitch charge to Delcom. 1 inning ago, it was a balk on a wild pitch that caused Delcom a run. Now the Tigers have runners at second and third, nobody out, leading by 3. And just like a great white shark, they're smelling blood.
have an opportunity here to really bust this one open. Miguel Reyes has been throwing in the Blue Dragon bullpen.
Pitch low and away. Now 3-1 to Brothers.
Reyes appears to be on the cusp of appearing in the 3rd straight game. You said earlier today the 2nd straight was the first time he'd done that. Obviously, this would be the first time for 3 straight.
Inside ball 4 and the bases are loaded. And now you have to face Grady Davenport. Right-handed hitter. Here comes Schmidt. And I'm pretty sure that Miguel Reyes will be entering the game, get the righty-righty matchup in what has now become the biggest moment in the ball game. Dragons trail 4-1. The Tigers have the bases loaded, nobody out. And Miguel Reyes is going to have to come up with some nasty stuff to keep the Dragons within striking distance of this one. Miguel's trotting in. We'll take this quick break. You're watching Blue Dragon Baseball. When we announced that Miguel Reyes Jr. had committed to the University of New Mexico, Scott Reller, the Blue Dragon pitching coach, told me that they were going to groom Miguel as a closer. Well, he's getting some early practice before he heads to Albuquerque. He makes his third relief appearance in the last 3 games. Miguel Reyes pitched 4 innings last night, got the win against Barton. Faced one batter earlier today against Colby, struck him out, got his first career save. And now he comes into the unenviable position with bases loaded, nobody outs, and the Dragons trailing 4-1. Reyes starts, and that goes all the way back up to hit by pitch.
Hit Davenport on the hand.
Reyes hits his 12th batter, and it is now 5-1. Halstead scores.
What have we said about the little things?
Right now, the Dragons not doing them. I think they're going to make sure that Grady Davenport's okay.
That was one of those that, from up here, it looks like it catches him on the left hand. And when you're holding that bat, there's no give.
No, none whatsoever. Dawson Linder worked 2+ innings, allowed 3 hits, 3 runs, walked 4 and struck out 1. Matt Delcom, 3+ innings, 3 hits, allowed 2 runs. Still runners on base are his, 2 of them. He struck out 4 and walked 4, so 8 walks, 3 wild pitches, 2 hit batsmen, and a balk out of the Blue Dragon pitching staff in this one. Those are the mistakes you simply cannot do against the postseason team like the Cowley Tigers. D. Simone takes high and tight ball 1. So now the Dragons trailing 5-1. They've been out hit 6-5. And the Tigers are ready to pounce. Swing and a miss. Good pitch from Miguel on the inner half, and it's 1-1.
Got a text a couple of weeks ago from former Blue Dragon Brock Shafer, now playing at Central Oklahoma for the Broncos. All it was his hand in a cast.
Ooh. Hit down the right field line. Could be trouble, but it's hooking foul.
And, of course, I respond asking what happened, and he said, well, I was at bat, and it was his right hand. Brock's a lefty. And I reached the Blue Dragon way. Took it right off the right hand while he's holding the bat. Ended his season.
If I recall, Brock was having a pretty fine season. 1-2 pitch. High chopper over. Moritz in the left field. Milligan scores. Here comes Brother. He will score. And it's 7-1 Tigers. Reyes made the pitch. But right now, the Tigers really using this artificial service to their advantage. They have a same surface in Arc City now.
Not a bad pitch either, and not a hard hit ball. He just pounded it into the turf, and it was over the head of Ryan Moritz.
Davenport stops at second. Brothers and Milligan both score. That's a 3-run fifth inning, and the Tigers lead at 7-1. And it's ball one to right fielder Parker Dunn. Dunn has walked twice, singled and scored. Swings and fouls that one off.
Defense in at the corners, double play depth up the middle.
And Hutchinson playing in his first regional final since 2010. They've been in 4 regional finals. Actually, 5 regional finals, excuse me. They won it in 75. They played the best of 3 regional final against Cowley at Hobart Detter Field in 1997. They were in the 2005 regional final, coming through the losers bracket to beat Garden City twice and win the 2005 Region 6 championship. They beat Cowley in the losers bracket final. Andy Dirks, normally the closer and starting center fielder, threw 7 innings as a starter. Called strike 3, inside corner. That's out number 1. Dunn goes down looking. And then, of course, the magical run of 2010. And
nice job by Max. Again, we talked about his framing of pitches last night and did an effective job of it just there, getting the strikeout.
Here's George Specht. Couple of RBIs on a fielder's choice and a ground out, and he also hit into a double play. He swings and misses at that Reyes offering. Reyes now 4-3 with 1 career save. He got that earlier today. 5.01 ERA. 89 strikeouts and 73 2/3 innings pitched. Strike called outside corner. And it's quickly 0-2 to Specht. 69 hits, 52 runs, 36 walks. Opponents hitting .243 against. Reyes is 0-2. Ground ball right back to Reyes. Only play will be to first. He flips to Baxley. Now it's runners at second and third with 2 out.
Smart play by Miguel. You think, do I try to go to second to at least cut down that lead runner? And when you look at where he fielded it and having to turn and make that throw, there's just more bad things that can happen than good.
Now Cade Stevens, the designated hitter, 0 for 2 with a walk. He also struck out once. Slice foul. Davenport at third, DeSimone at second. 2 out in the inning. It's a 3-run inning for the Tigers here in the 6th. The 1-0 bounces in, and it gets past McGuire, and that's going to allow a run. Davenport comes in on the wild pitch, and it's 8-1. Max didn't have a chance at that one. He's been such a wall. But even that wild pitch, which is it is the 8th wild pitch of the year charged to Miguel. Off speed, misses wide, and it's all of a sudden 3-0. And unfortunately, an inning like this can kind of take the wind out of your sails. You battled so hard. 3 losers bracket wins. There's a little looper in the left field. That's down for a hit. DeSimone scores. And it is 9-1 Cowley. While the Tigers' record most impressive, they didn't. Record-wise, they breezed through the Jayhawks, but they were pushed quite a bit this season. And just know how to win games. There's a bunt by Steenstra. Fielded by Reyes. He throws over. Nice athletic play to get him. Miguel Reyes fielded and then went down on one knee and threw a strike to Baxley. But the inning is over finally. Cowley sends 9 to the plate. They score 5 on 3 hits. They leave 1 halfway through in the championship game. It's Cowley 9 and the Dragons 1.
Last inning, 5 runs on 3 singles, if I'm looking at that right. 2 walks and a hit by pitch. And 2 wild pitches.
Zion Bowen to lead off to 6th. Not sure why the music's not being cut off. There they go. Dragons trail it 9-1. Cowley just hung a 5 spot in the top of the 6th. And it's ball 1 inside from Miguel Obeso to Zion Bowen. He's 0 for 2. Lined out to right and struck out.
The music hadn't been cut off because they didn't have Jake Brown running the music for him like we have at Hobart Netterfield.
Big swing and a miss by Zion, and it's 1-1. Not ready to give up the ship yet, but large comebacks in the Cowley Tigers usually don't go together very well. Swing and a miss.
And Carp, we've talked about how the little things, doing them right, doing them wrong, have an impact on a game. That last half inning for Cowley, 5 runs on only 3 singles. But a hit by pitch, 2 walks, and 2 wild pitches.
Cowley knows how to take advantage of the mistakes. Pitch taken low by Bowen, and it's 2-2.
And one of the things that a team like Hutch has to learn from this is a team that's as good as Cowley doesn't need that help. You can't give them that help.
Bezos 2-2. Got him swinging an off-speed pitch. 1 away here in the 6th. That is now 6 strikeouts for Obeso in 2 1/3 innings. He's allowed just 1 hit and 1 ground ball out. So
6 of the 7 outs he's recorded have been by strikeout.
Here's Ryan Moore. It's 2 for 2. Double to lead off to 4th, single to lead off to 2nd. If you didn't join us for the early game today against Colby, just an update if you're wondering on Blue Dragon freshman center fielder Will Reitz. He was hit by a pitch in the 9th inning in the face last night. Taken immediately to the hospital. Moritz lays off that offering, and it's a little bit low for ball 2. Because of my job position, I can't give you any particulars of the injury, but it's serious enough. He's definitely out for the year. But he's okay. He never lost consciousness. The pitch. Strike on the outside corner, 2-1.
He was not admitted, so he's not still in the hospital, which is a positive.
I know his parents were down. I don't know if they went back to Nebraska or not. I've not seen. I didn't go down between games, so I didn't get to see if Will was in the dugout or not, or look for Will's parents. But our prayers are with him and his family. A little bit outside, 3-1 to Moritz, and the Cowley fans not particularly happy. But
and based on what we've seen called a strike in that part of the plate, they deserve to be unhappy on that one. But we're not going to give it back to them.
Nope, you're not going to throw that fish back in the water. Here's the 3-1. Ball 4. So 1 out walk to Moritz. He's been on base all 3 times. Just third base runner allowed by Albeso. Moritz doubled. Schmidt doubled, and Moritz walked again. Now Zack Baxley. 2 strikeouts and 2 plate appearances. Strike called.
Albeso, a good sized player, and which when you see someone that's bigger, you're thinking fastball, 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 but he has lived with the off-speed stuff and kept the Blue Dragons really off balance.
It's a fly ball, shallow left center. Milligan, or the center fielder makes the catch. That was Halstead. And there's 2 away. Now Max McGuire. Max 0 for 2, flyouts right and a strikeout. Cowley's out hit Hutch 8-5. Strike called. Max swings and misses, and it's 0-2. Once the season's complete, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, maybe after another miracle comeback, and don't put it past the Blue Dragons.
Not at all.
They'll be blowing up the record books, especially the individual records. Swinging a miss, strike 3. And Albeso gets 2 strikeouts in the 6th, and the Dragons are turned away. We've completed 6 in Wichita, the winner or the championship game of the Central District Tournament. Tigers 9 and the Dragons 1. Seventh inning rolls around here at Eck Stadium. The Dragons need another major comeback. They trail by 8, 9-1 to the Tigers. Tigers hitting top half of the 7th. It'll be Tyler Halstead, Cody Milligan, and Blaze Brothers, 9-1-2. Miguel Reyes back to work, and he misses low one in for ball 1 to Halstead. He's 1 for 3. He started off the big 5-run 6th with a single. Swings and fouls that one out of play to the left. Count now 1-1. Reyes' pitch. Off speed, catches the corner. 1-2 now the count to Halstead. That slider misses low one in. It's 2-2. What do you think of the thought about New Mexico making Reyes a closer?
You know, I get where they're coming from. Miguel does not lack confidence, which you need in that because you're typically going to come into a situation where there's going to be adversity, and you need to be able to just not focus on that and not even think about it and go out there and throw strikes.
Halstead draws a leadoff walk. That's now 6 times in 7 innings. The Tigers have had their leadoff man reach. Now it's back to the top of the order and catcher Clay Milligan. Couple of singles, 2 runs scored, a ground out in the second, and a walk in the 6th. The 2019 Blue Dragons, regardless of the outcome tonight, first to pitch to Milligan is taken high, will finish in the top 5 in most wins in team history.
How did you know? I was just going to ask you that question, Carp.
Because I just pulled it up right there.
I was just looking at the 44 we're sitting on and was saying, I bet Carp can tell us where that's going to rank.
2016, which was a Jack West champion, the year after the World Series, a great team, but runner goes. Pitches a strike to throw down, not in time. So Milligan, or excuse me, Halstead steals the base.
So here's one for you, Carp. I'm looking at the individual season records.
Okay.
And we have a 4-way tie for most games played at 63. And this is our 64th game. Do we have anybody this year that played all 64?
Zane Schmidt. And so this will be 65 for Zane.
Yep, there's Zane. So Zane.
And he's the only one?
He's the only one. So
Nedved was 62. Sartori was 62. Moritz was 61.
Nedved will tie it now, tie the second place, tie for second.
Ground ball to short. Milligan thrown out by Nedved. Halstead moves up to third. And again, there is the difference between championship baseball and really good baseball. Another runner moved up on an out. Cowley seemingly has no unproductive outs.
Well, they've got a runner at third with 1 out without the benefit of a base hit.
Now Blaze Brothers, he pinch hit and stayed in the game to play second. Takes a strike.
And that's why coaches like Ryan Schmidt at some point in their life end up with either gray hair like yours or no hair like mine.
That slider misses low and away. And it's 1-1. The 2002 Blue Dragons and the 2017 Blue Dragons, Jack West team, ranked as high as number 3 in the country that year. Here's a strike. And it's 1-2. Getting back to that 2006 team, that was Luke Nacarado, Thad Weber, Noah Kroll, their sophomore years. Great regular season. They dominated the Jayhawk West. The pitch. And one bounces in back to the screen, and coming down the line to score is Halstead, and another run scored without the service of a base hit, and it's 10-1.
Zach Philbin and I believe Ryan Summers up getting loose in the Hutchinson bullpen. Things are now quiet in Cowley's. They've had a righty and a lefty both up.
2-2 pitch. It's lifted foul off to the right. Getting back to the 2006 team, they dominated the Jayhawk West. Defeated Labette in 2 games in the opening round series. Won their first game over Allen. There's a fly ball to right. Drifting back is Schmidt. He's got it gauged and has it for out number 2. But then the Blue Dragons of 2006 lost in 15 innings to Seward County in the winner's bracket semifinal. And it just took all the life out of them. Fort Scott knocked the Dragons out the next day. And a very promising chance to go to Grand Junction quickly disappeared in the matter of about 18 hours. That was the end of the 26th season. And what made that 2005, 2006 team, those 2 teams unique, there was so much local talent on that team. Luke Nacarado, Ty Abney, Zach Kavarna, Noah Kroll. I mean, the list goes on and on. The madman Brandon Doherty was on that team.
Is that the guy
he was an in-state kid.
Is that the guy who's second on the career list for hit by pitches?
Yes,
second. Right?
Second,
right?
Yeah, let's make that clear, BD. You're second now, and Will Reitz is on your tail.
And I should be nice to him. I've never even met Brandon, and here I am. You're sucking me into this.
Seriously, no. BD loves that stuff.
Being second or just being
being hammered on.
Okay.
That's what he does. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So, 1 run for the Tigers without the benefit of the hit. A walk, a couple of stolen base, and a couple of wild pitches. And we've reached stretch time here in Wichita. Our score, Tigers 10 and the Dragons 1. Brian Skillman, the lead off the bottom of the 7th there in the championship game of the Central District Tournament. Cowley Tigers well on their way to another trip to Grand Junction. They are the power when it comes to Region 6 baseball. Skillman swings and rolls one foul down the first base line. Skillman has grounded out to short twice. Skillman will be a central figure of the 2020 Blue Dragons. He will likely be a two-way player. Imagine right field. If Will Reitz comes back nice and healthy, Skillman will play right, Reitz will play center. The 0-1, the changeup taken outside from Obeso, and it's 1-1.
Where do you see Zane Schmidt playing? He's played outfield, he's played first base, he caught a little. DH'd.
He came in as a catcher. Dragons are going to have to replace Zack Baxley at first, so I'm thinking first base next year.
Down the list, we also have Jeremiah Caesar.
That's right.
In that outfield equation.
With that in mind, and I apologize for forgetting about Jeremiah. That's foul back. That may push Skillman more toward simply staying in the rotation and being a spot player out in the field. Because Brian Skillman, on the mound, proved his worth.
Chris Noble, another player who we haven't seen. Have we seen him here at the tournament?
No.
At this point?
2-2 pitch. Pulled foul along first, but it'll roll foul. I would see some big shoes to fill up the middle. We said that 2 years ago when Cooper and Hellman graduated.
Who?
Cooper and Hellman.
Just kidding.
Oh,
I was kind of hoping they were listening. We'd already forgotten about them. Shane Cooper and Michael Hellman, we'd never forget about them.
Can't forget about Gilligan.
I was just looking at some other records, and Cooper holds the top 2 spots in at-bats.
Called strike 3.
241 year, 234 the next.
Skillman goes down on strikes. 1 out in the 7th for Logan Sartori. Logan, you're going to see in a week or so when I get that updated on the website, he's going to appear a lot in those career stats.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at that at-bat one, and Coop's going to fall to third. He'll have first and third because Zane Schmidt's going to move into second place on the career at-bat list.
Chop to the second baseman. Blaze brothers. Sartori retired, and there's 2 away. Sartori now 2 for 4. And now Dylan Nedved. He's 0 for 2 with a walk and an RBI ground out. The ground out drove in Sartori, who broke a tie between him and Quentin Crandall for the career triples record. Strike called to Dylan. Miguel Reyes will finish in the top 4 of all-time strikeouts. Mike Brown will finish in the top 10 of all-time strikeouts. Get to this point in the year, the numbers just pile up, and I can't keep track of every record like I like. Called strike 3.
Boy, and I'm not sure Sasha was going to make that. He got sold that one by the Cowley catcher, who immediately caught it and just took off. And Sasha hadn't even made a call yet. And he's hearing about it from the Hutchinson bullpen or dugout.
And rightfully so, but the Dragons go in order in the 7th. We head to the 8th. Dragons trail Cowley 10-1. Eighth inning rolls around in the championship game of the Central District Tournament from Eck Stadium in Wichita. Big Moose, Zach Philbin into the game. He was the winning pitcher in the Barton comeback last night. He will face 4, 5, and 6 here in the 8th. Swinging a fly ball to center field, and it's over the head of Skillman, who broke in first, and then he was cooked as the ball flew right over his head. It's a leadoff double for DeSimone.
Yeah, Skilly didn't get a good read on that one, and it completely had him fooled.
Now 9 hits by the Tigers.
As hard as that was hit, I don't know that breaking back on it was going to make a difference. I think it still gets over his head into the fence, but
Dawson Linder started, worked 2+. He allowed 3 hits, 3 runs, walked 4, and struck out 1. Matt Delcom works 3+, 3 hits, 4 runs, 4 strikeouts, 4 walks, 2 wild pitches. Miguel Reyes goes 2 innings, 2 hits, 3 runs, 2 strikeouts, and a walk. 9 walks, 5 wild pitches, and 2 hit batsmen, and a balk. Mistakes that simply cannot be made against a team the caliber of the Cowley Tigers. Parker Dunn fouls that one into his own team's dugout. Philbin pitched well last night. He gave up the home run to Charlie Pye in the top of the 9th to make it 8-5, and things were pretty bleak, but last night Zach Philbin was dealing.
He was, and we don't pick a player of the game or a pitcher of the game or anything like that. But if we did, and last night, I think I would have had to give it to Zach because he came in at a tough spot. You're right, he gave up the homer, but without looking back, I think the first 14 pitches he threw were strikes. He came in a tough spot, threw one pitch, got an inning-ending double play. The next inning, he threw 9 pitches, all strikes, struck out the side.
And then gave up the home run to Pila in the 8th.
Was that in the 8th or was that in the top of the ninth?
Top of the ninth.
Top of the
my
ninth.
Apologies. So that made it 8-5, and then the rest is history. 1-1 to Parker Dunn, a runner at second. Nobody out here in the top of the 8th. Dragons trailing by 10-1.
Since the Dragons came back and won that game, I can say, and I'm sure Moose would concur, that he gave up that home run on purpose to help build the drama. A 1-run deficit in the bottom of the ninth isn't near as exciting as a 3-run deficit.
1-2 pitch. Got him swinging on a slow curveball. One away. I was thinking in between moments of consciousness last night while trying to write my stories, which went really slow, by the way. They all got posted between 6:30 and 9 a.m. this morning. It's kind of hard to write 5 stories in a timely fashion when you're exhausted and writing a paragraph per 10 minutes. George Specht lines one foul off to the right. But I was thinking, the most exciting single day of baseball that I've been around my some 23 years covering and working with this team. There have been many. But you go back earlier this year against Pratt, the doubleheader at Hobart Detter Field. You got the Will Reitz 3-run walk-off and extra innings to win the first game, and then how the series ended when Will Reitz threw out the potential tying run at the plate to end the game.
That's right.
Very exciting day of baseball. But in terms of pure overall, from down in the dumps to getting back into it to being down in the dumps and then all of a sudden instant euphoria, I can't come up with one.
No, it's been a real roller coaster ride with a lot of peaks and valleys. But what an exciting group of young men that we get the pleasure of spending time with. The 1-2.
One's pulled foul. And I will admit, especially when I'm on by myself, I do tend to get on a soapbox, but that's the old baseball player in me, and I've seen the game at a high level. Didn't so much play it at a high level, but I've covered it at a high level. I've coached at a high level, umpired at a fairly high level, so I feel like a good feel for the game. And I don't even want to say the number of years that it encompasses, but it's nearing a little less than Phil Anderson's age. Not much, but
oh boy. I mean, we're hearkening back to the days of Abner Doubleday.
Baseball before there were lights. The pitch. Fired back over the netting for a foul ball. But I do tend to get, and on certain things, I'm very strong about the number of 2-out hits this team's given up, a number of first pitch hacks. But
not just 2-out hits, but 2 strike.
Yeah,
2 strike, when they've got an advantage in the count as well.
Pitch a little bit outside, 2-2. And I've got to remember that these are 18, 19-year-old kids, most of them first year of college, and it's a learning experience. But to me, baseball is sacred, and that's the reason I enjoy doing what I do. The pitch, called strike 3, right at the letters. So 2 consecutive strikeouts for Moose after a leadoff double. And that'll bring up the designated hitter, Cade Stevens.
Have we heard Moose's destination next year?
No, I have not. Cade Stevens is 0 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but he's been productive. He's had 2 outs for RBIs. Check that 0 for 4. I read the wrong line. 1 for 3 with a walk and a single and an RBI. My apologies.
Well, I was going across my Cade Stevens line and thinking, how badly do I have this screwed up? Because I had him 1 for 3 with a walk.
And you'd be correct. Nice little tight slider for a swing and a miss.
Starting to make me question all these records you've been spouting off with, Carp.
That's just me getting tired of looking at the computer screens. Do you have 1 and 1? Or 0 and 1?
Well, I have 0 and 1, but I
Okay.
was questioning myself whether I missed the first pitch.
Yeah, it was
Pulled foul.
It was 0 and 2 now.
The clouds have pretty much cleared off here in Wichita.
They have. It's beautiful right now.
Pretty nasty rainstorm rolled in about 10:30. About the time I left the ballpark. Now Ryan Schmidt out for a moment. And now he's he's just checking on Max. Max says, just go back to the dugout, Coach. I got this.
Transfer from Missouri State. It's unfortunate we only get 1 year of Max.
Definitely. What a great team player. 1-2 pitch. That's miss high, and now it's 2 and 2. Or 1 and 2. And maybe I added a pitch.
Looking at the weather, they're not calling for anything this evening now, so it looks like that whatever's out there either dissipated or went another direction.
The wind's still blowing out of the south. I don't know if the front's come through yet. That pitch pulled foul. It rolls like it knew what it was doing right into the Blue Dragon bullpen, right up onto the bench area. Again, this wonderful ballpark at Wichita State's going to have a little bit of a different look next year. The construction off to our left, that'll be the new clubhouse, offices, training facility, weight room. There's a fly ball, center field, well hit. Skillman at the fence, and he's gone. A 2-run home run for Cade Stevens, and the Dragons trail it 12-1.
And another one of those instances when it was a 1-2 count and a 2-out situation.
Now 154 runs allowed with 2 outs. The Dragons have 179, so they've done well themselves with 2 outs, but 154 runs given up with 2 outs. I know it's been addressed. Schmidt and I talk about it all the time as Logan Steenstra takes for ball 1. 10 hits now for the Tigers. Here's a strike at the knees. Again, no run rule in the championship game. We will play the duration. There's a strike. Now the positives, 44 wins. Did go further than in the region tournament than last year. A pitch taken outside for a ball.
3rd last year.
2nd this year, most likely.
Yeah. What
Conference co-champs this year.
What does that mean next year? How does that pattern continue?
There you go. The hurdle, once they get here, is a hot shot that Sartori can't handle. It bounds off his glove into center field. Heading for second is Steenstra. And there'll be an error on Sartori. Sun could have played a role in that one. The Sun's out, and right field is the Sun field. It was a well-struck ball, but Sartori should have made the play. And now it's Tyler Halstead, the center fielder. First error of the afternoon, and this one for Hutch. Pitch misses inside. The hurdle, once the Blue Dragons get here, the hurdle is they're going to have to figure out a way to win that winner's bracket semifinal.
That's been their Achilles.
Tap foul.
You just can't underestimate the advantage it gives a team like Cowley in this instance, coming in having only played 3 games, and to their credit, 3 shortened games because
Yes.
all of them were run rules. So how many, did you say it earlier, how many innings they've played so far?
19.
19 innings.
Before this game.
Before this game. So they've played 2 games.
No, correction. 21 innings. So
21.
3 games. 3 7-inning run rules.
Okay, so they've played less than 2.5 complete 9-inning games.
Right.
And Hutchinson coming into this has played how many innings? We have to do that math real quick.
5 against Fort Scott. Then
2-1
9 against
pitch.
Colby. That pitch misses. And it's 3-1. 9 against Colby. Third game was
Cloud.
That
went
the
9.
duration. Barton went the duration. Colby went the duration. So 36, 41 innings.
41 innings compared to 21 innings. That's 20 less innings of pitching that Cowley has had to burn up to get to this point. So you're right. Staying on the good side of that bracket pays dividends.
Here's the payoff from Philbin. Halstead swings and misses. Foul tipped into the glove of McGuire. The inning is over, but Cade Stevens' 2-run home run increases the Tiger lead. 2 runs, 2 hits, 1 error, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It is now Cowley 12 and the Dragons 1. Welcome back to Eck Stadium. Neil Diamond serenading the crowd to Sweet Caroline. I still despise the Red Sox, but that's personal. Red Sox kind of made that famous using it in the baseball setting in the middle of the 8th inning. Zane Schmidt to lead it off against Miguel Obeso, who's been nails out of the pen for Dave Burrows and the Tigers. Schmidt 1 for 3. He doubled the last time up, a 2-out double in the 5th.
Coming into this game, Obeso had 19 appearances and 32 2/3 innings, so well under 2 innings per appearance, and I've lost track. He's well beyond that.
4 innings pitched, 57 pitches thrown, 9 strikeouts, 1 walk, 1 hit, no runs.
It's a pretty good line.
Pitch drops in for a strike, and it's 1-1 to Schmidt.
You know, we don't know this without going through all their stats, but this is probably his longest outing of the season.
Quite likely. That ball is pulled foul outside of first. So Zane Schmidt will finish in the top 10 of many single season categories. 94 hits, 16 doubles, 22 home runs, 75 RBIs. 1-2 pitch. This is outside. He's already in the top 10 of the home run list.
Unless the Dragons can extend this, he'll likely end up in second in at-bats for the season. We talked earlier, he will own the top spot in games played.
Where's the 2-2? Just misses outside. Obeso not happy with Sasha Sanguinetti. Sasha has been inconsistent.
He has been. It's been a mystery.
Obeso into the line. Here's the payoff to Schmidt. He fouls it off to stay alive.
Schmidt will move into the top 5 in runs scored. You may have said that one. If you did, I apologize.
Nope. Where does the 75 RBIs put him?
Solidly in second. Well, third. Doge and Morganson are tied for first at 87.
Once again, do a 3-2 to Zane Schmidt. Called strike 3.
See, that's just terribly inconsistent. That pitch was wider than the one he called a ball.
For next year, Zane Schmidt is going to have to learn to adjust to an umpire strike zone. I'm not saying in this particular game, but Zane's taking an awful lot of called third strikes on that very same style of pitch. And Ryan Schmidt flat says, just go swing and fight it off and live to fight another pitch. Now here's Metzger.
Yeah, that's the hitting approach that they need to learn, is that you may not like that pitch, but you have to understand and recognize that it's close enough to get called against you, and you've got to just slap it away, slap it towards the other team's dugout or the third base dugout, and wait for the next one.
Grounded to the second baseman, Brothers. Metzger retired, and there's 2 away. Here's Zion Bolin. Did we confirm the destination for Zion Bolin? I've heard.
We'd heard one, but I have not heard it definitively. I'd heard it was certain, and then I'd heard that maybe had backtracked a little bit. So
on to Bolin. We don't want to give away the school just in case.
Right. I know Riley Metzger's got some of that. Hit him on the shoulder.
Well, perhaps Zion Bolin's final at bat as a Dragon. Happens the Blue Dragon way. Now here's Ryan Moritz.
I've heard Riley Metzger may have a couple of opportunities out there.
Darren Burrows headed to the pen. He's going to make a pitching change. So 68 pitches for Miguel Obeso. He stands to be the winning pitcher in the championship game. Burrows giving him a glad hand, takes the ball from him. And the Cowley fans equally on their feet. Nice job by Obeso. Cowley making a pitching change, bottom of the 8th. We'll take a break. Right-hander Darren Wilson comes in with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th inning, taking over for Miguel Obeso. Great effort by him for the Cowley Tigers, as they are now 4 outs away from another Region 6 championship. Jared Wilson on for the 23rd time. 2-0 record and a 3.81 ERA. He's a sophomore. 26 innings pitched, 21 runs, 11 runs, 11 earned, 36 strikeouts, and 12 walks. You just look at the strikeout to walk ratios of this Cowley team. Very typical This team has been the top overall pitching team in the region for eons under Dave Burrows and his brother, assistant coach, actually associate head coach and pitching coach, Darren Lefty Burrows. So now Moritz hits with 2 outs and a runner at first with a pinch runner.
Yeah, Ethan White.
Ethan White pinch running for Bolin. Thank you. Bolin out of Bueller. And it's strike one.
So's
Moritz.
Ethan White, Carp.
What did I say?
Bolin.
Oh, my goodness. Big cut and a miss, and it's not thinking two. Actually, Zion's from Topeka.
Well, actually from Lawrence.
Lawrence. Gosh dang it, I'm done.
Carp is 0 for 2.
I'm done. Well, I normally have my roster with me, but I wasn't able to pull that roster out, so my apologies. Maybe the adrenaline started to run out a little bit. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Tap fouled by Mo. Has Mo decided?
I don't know. Haven't heard anything.
I guarantee you, over the last month, his stock's gone up. He's going to be getting some looks. Very, very impressed with Ryan Moritz. I'm probably as hard on him over his career than I've been on most people because of his strikeout totals, but he's been very good over the last month. Good plate discipline. You know, for all the strikeouts, he has walked. Let me see if I can find it here. He's walked 41 times this year. That's now a team high.
Yeah, certainly helps the on-base percentage.
1-2 to Mo. Wilson's pitch. Strike him out. And the inning is over. Dragons strand a 2-out base runner. We head to the 9th here in Wichita. Cowley 12 and the Dragons 1. Ethan Peterson will pitch the 9th for Ryan Schmidt's Blue Dragons. Ethan on for the 8th time, no record and a 6.0 ERA. He has thrown just 6 innings. 7 hits are allowed, 7 runs, 4 earned. 10 strikeouts, 4 walks, with an opponent's against average of .280. Some weather getting rough northwest of Hutchinson. There's a tornado warning for Rice County until 7:45. But when I looked at the radar, those storms were moving east-northeast and shouldn't affect Salt City proper. May go between Inman and McPherson. Here, it's turned into a very lovely evening after an overcast start to the day. Big time rainstorm came through, but that's the magic of artificial surface. And I pose this to you. Again, you and I are purists. Should Hobart dead or go to turf?
For the economics of maintenance and the heavy schedule that it accommodates, that would be the only way I will tell you yes. I'm like you. I love a natural turf field, and I don't think there's any question Hobart Detter Field is probably the premier natural turf field throughout the state. T-Bones Park up in Kansas City is probably right up there with it. But when you look at Hutchinson High School, the Blue Dragons, the tournaments that come to town, the Monarchs throughout the summer, and just look at this today because it dumped.
Yes.
It dumped rain. And there's not a drop of water to be seen anywhere. Everything's in great shape. If that rain had fallen at Hobart Detter Field, we would not be playing baseball today.
Cody Milligan draws a walk here in the top of the ninth. Is that 8 of 9 innings that the Tigers have had the leadoff man aboard?
I am looking back quickly, and I will tell you.
Blaze Brothers will be the batter. Dragons trailing 12-1.
It appears to me the 5th inning, the top of the 5th, is the only inning they did not get the leadoff batter on, and that was on a hard-hit liner straight at Riley Metzger.
0-1 to Brothers. He came on to replace Carson Sater a couple of innings ago and hit him.
And while the leadoff hitter did not get on in the 5th, the second batter did and came around to score.
So now Grady Davenport. Davenport struck out his last time. He had a bases loaded hit by pitch in the faithful 6th inning, the 5-run inning. He's walked. Ruh-roh.
Yeah, we're looking at the weather map here. North and northwest of Hutchinson right now, southeast of Hutchinson, there's quite a bit of activity down in eastern Pratt County. And then there's a whole bunch of red and yellow and orange further west of that.
So it might be a rough evening.
It might be.
0-1 to Davenport.
Let's see what the future cast looks like.
Slider misses outside 2-0. You talk about the lexicon of the American society now. 25 years ago, you never heard the term big blob of yellow or red. But if you say that, you know what you're talking
Absolutely.
about, a weather radar.
Those are the technical terms, too.
The pitch. One outside. Ethan struggling with his command. Another right-hander throwing in the pen. It kind of looks like Zach Furniture.
Sure does. It is.
There's a strike. You look at the use of the tournament, or the pitching staff during this tournament. Again, I go back to the 5th batter of the postseason when Jake Buns left because of that injury. It just really put the entire state of the rotation up in flux. But saying that, I think Ryan Schmidt has handled this staff about as well as he could. There's a pop-up, and it's backing out of play. I really commend Schmidt for that. Who would have thought to run Dylan Nedved out after such a rotten outing yesterday?
Oh.
I mean, you figure his confidence was rocked. And, again, he's a very slow start. But all of a sudden, Ryan Schmidt went out, had one of his magical talks, and then Dylan Nedved goes out and pitches 7 strong. Full count now to Davenport.
Carp, I think what we need to do next year to really take these broadcasts to the next level, because, and this is more to your credit, we get such great feedback from families and parents and others about the opportunity these broadcasts provide, because there's so many of these kids, not only for Hutch, but for our opponents that tune in, that are from out of state, some of them even international, and this is their opportunity to follow their team. But I think to take this broadcast to the next level next year, I think Schmitty needs to be mic'd up.
Well, we actually not particularly. We need to do that as a trial basis. Let's try that with Samuel Aidan soccer.
Yes.
No, that's not happening. Here's Daniel DeSimone.
No, because we'd have a whole new population that learns how to cuss in Irish.
Outside ball 1 to DeSimone. A walk ahead batsman and the walk have him loaded up in the 9th. 14 pitches for Peterson, 4 for strikes. There's strike number 5. It's a 1-1 count to DeSimone. Schmidt and I were actually talking about going back to the pregame chats, and I'm good with that. I wasn't sure if he liked him all the time. There's a tap foul by DeSimone, and it's 1-2.
That's true. You didn't have those this year, the pregame shows, did you at all?
It was our superstition. We didn't have them at Region 6 last year because we could never find the time because I was always working the tournament, and they showed up at odd times. So we finished third. We decided not to do it, but then we talked last week, and it's like, we need to go back to doing those, so next year we'll bring them back. And also, another thing is, this was the latest I ever got to a game. It was late March before I even saw a Blue Dragon game. They were already 20-some-odd games into the season. A lot because of the weather. Is a foul ball by DeSimone. And it remains 2-2. And I want to thank you for filling in a lot of those early games. We had so much going on in terms of basketball.
Right.
I spent a week in Lubbock with the women, and I needed to be there. 2-2 pitch. Popped up deep to right. Toward the line is Metzger going back.
Boy,
did he
struggled.
catch it?
He did.
He did.
It wasn't pretty, and that carried a lot deeper.
It did. It hardly sounded like it hit off the bat. That's why I said popped up, and it almost carried about 328 feet.
You know, Carpin, there's sometimes I just can't leave things alone, and I know you're sleep deprived and really tired. And
I said to right, didn't I?
Yeah, that's now left.
That is now left.
Yeah, they switched those a couple of years ago.
Must be following Iowa rules. Now Parker Dunn. I've always called Denny my conscience. Parker Dunn fouls one off. Now 13-1, the Dragons trail. That's a strike on the outside corner. As this tournament's gone on, really, Ryan Schmidt's options, there's a swing and a foul ball by him, became very limited, especially not only pitching-wise, but think about Dragons lose 2 outfielders here.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Caesar and Will Reitz. Another outfielder got hurt, there'd have been real trouble.
Yeah, and those are 2
Ground
players.
Ball right back to Peterson. He double pumps and goes to second for 1, on to first, safe, and a run will score. I think Ethan double clutched because he wasn't sure that that Nedved was going to reach the base.
And something that he will learn as he gets more experience, because you mentioned only 6 innings pitched, and he is a freshman. He never took a look at the runner at third. And take that look, freeze him, or I think the runner broke on contact, and there's a play there that cuts down that scoring run.
George Specht fouls one off into the construction area. That's a lively fastball from Peterson. I believe it was called a strike. It wasn't. It's 0-2. Scoreboard getting a little bit slow. 0-2 pitch outside. We haven't had the main scoreboard in left field for a couple of days. The power was cut to it for the construction. I don't think the 5A state tournament, which starts here next Friday, will have it either. Foul off onto the roof of the Bombardier Indoor Center. There will not be a third base dugout next week. That was supposed to happen here because of all the rain last week. That dirt pile down there was such a mess. Construction crew couldn't get in to tear it up.
So what is the plan then for the team occupying that?
Tents and temporary benches.
Wow.
That was supposed to be the plan for this week.
If that had played out, it would be a good week to be the 1 seed.
Indeed.
And guarantee yourself the first base dugout.
Peterson misses high and away to Specht 2-2.
Can you imagine that in this wind that we had yesterday?
Oh.
Those tents?
I'm not sure the dugout would have lasted with the wind we had yesterday.
It would have cleared 21st.
2-2 pitch. Line foul. Good attempt by Baxley, but it was outside the bag. Dragons are going to see a lot of very good sophomores leave the program. The entire infield will leave. Pop foul out of play. Moritz, Nedved, Sartori, and Baxley. In essence, the Dragons lose 2 catchers in Baxley and Max McGuire. Zion Bolin will depart. Riley Metzger will depart in left field. It will be a much different lineup next year. The pitch. Called strike 3 and the inning is over. Cowley comes up with 2 runs on no hits, no errors and 1 left. Last at bat for the Dragons coming up. It'll be the lower third of the order. After 8.5, Cowley 14 and the Dragons 1. Welcome back to Eck Stadium. And now the clouds are starting to roll in. The sun, which was out a few minutes ago, has disappeared. We figured that stuff that we looked at on radar is starting to work its way east. Last at bats for the Dragons, unless they can come up with a 13 spot. They've scored 13 in 1 inning this year. Against Butler.
So you're telling me there's a chance. Name that movie, Carp.
Oh, Dumb and Dumber. Swing and a miss, strike 1 to Zack Baxley.
I was like, that sounds familiar.
You know, you saying Dumb and Dumber just teed that up. There's a lot of people thinking that's, you know, who the 2 guys doing this game are.
Fly ball to right field, caught by Parker Dunn. And Baxley goes 0 for 4, 1 away here in the 9th. And we're going to have a pitching change. So Wilson leaves the game, and it will be Ethan Swanson, the new pitcher. We'll keep it right here.
Carp, is this, and I don't have his numbers right in front of me. I was going to go find him thinking if this is a situation where they're trying to just get somebody the opportunity to throw who maybe hasn't had that. I don't know.
You know, the bullpen's only thrown 1 inning in this tournament. They were used fairly extensively last week in the 3-game series against Pratt. But Ethan Swanson, 1-0 record with a 2.92 ERA, 24 2/3 innings pitched.
Okay, so it's not what I was speculating.
14 hits allowed, 8 runs, 33 strikeouts, and 19 walks. Just a lot of great strikeout to walk ratios on this Cowley team, but that is typical of a Burrows coach team. Pitching, defense, it used to be power, now it's the running game. So the Max McGuire will be the batter, and then Connor Craig is on deck. He'll pinch hit for Skillman. We'll see if anybody else can get up after that. So 44 wins, likely the final total for the Hutchinson Blue Dragons. So now McGuire steps in. First pitch swing and rolls one. Gotten to by Steenstra. He sets his feet and throws. And a very beat up Max McGuire labored down the line. Now there's 2 away.
We're going to get another pitching change, Carp.
So Ethan Swanson throws 1 inning. He will depart.
1/3.
Or 1/3 of an inning. 1 batter, I meant to say. I assume that the all-tournament team will be, the pitching list will be populated by several Tigers. Trying to get the number. Lights have been turned on here at Eck Stadium. Looks like, is that number 1?
Looks like it.
Ryan Westerhoff, a disciple of the Sunflower League. Trying to think of who he pitched for in the Sunflower. Valley Center. Or not Valley Center, Cheney.
Cheney? Oh, a Diamond Dog?
Yeah, he's a Diamond Dog.
Ooh. Carp, let's run down real quick. I brought the ever-changing roster for the Monarchs. Connor Craig, who you mentioned is going to be coming to bat, a Blue Dragon who will be playing for them. Dawson Dreyer from Tabor, a Bueller kid. Matt Hopkins, we've seen Matt quite a bit this season. Dawson Linder started this game. Mason Lowe, another Blue Dragon. LJ McDonough. Dylan Nedved back for his 2nd year. Zach Philbin. Moose will be sticking around Hutch this summer. And some former Blue Dragons. Garrett Stevens.
Very nice.
Catcher now at Southeast Missouri. Ryan Steckline at Fort Hays State.
You might know who that
Name is somewhat familiar to me. We're still trying to find him a host family.
Ah, okay.
And Scott Wolverton, a former Blue Dragon, now at Moorhead State. And Scott and his brother Keith. Keith is at Concordia College. Those are some of the ones with Hutch connections. And I know Mark Blackham, as I say, ever-changing. Will Reitz was going to be on that.
Jeremiah
Caesar, when there was a player lost from, I think, Sam Houston State. And so Mark Blackham picked up Jeremiah Caesar, and that day is the one that Jeremiah tweaked his hamstring. So I think there's probably some uncertainty with that one right now. But hopefully Jeremiah will get to spend the summer with us.
Connor Craig hitting .229 for the year, 8 for 35. Does have a home run and 4 RBIs. Swings and misses and goes down to a knee. .2019 overall in junior college baseball has been very offensive. And one pulled foul. And Jamel Cervantes.
What better way to end the season? Jamel finally fields a foul ball cleanly. And even stuck it in his pocket. That's kind of like, a guy getting his first major league hit. He's keeping that ball.
Only took 65 games. Another shot for up. It was a little far, no effort there. Remains 1 and 2. Monarchs will report in 9 days. Here's the 1-2. Low and away. Want to wish Monarchs head coach Darren McHugh, who's also the Nickerson High head coach, good luck at state this year. Where is the 4A state?
I want to say Salina, but that is a guess, Carp.
2-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3, and the season has come to a close. The dog pile coming for the Cowley Tigers. But the Dragons, a 44-21 finish, conference co-champions, and Region 6 runner-up. A pretty darn fine season all the way around. Some dejection down there right now. The head coaches are going to meet. We will stick around. There will be the all-tournament team. I know there's going to be a few Blue Dragons on there. We'll catch them before we get off the air. But the Blue Dragons fall in the finals 14-1 to the Cowley Tigers. Congratulations to Dave Burrows And the Tigers, they're headed back to Grand Junction. First time in 2 years. Again, they won that 2 years ago. They finished third. Won national championships in 96 and 97. And if they pitched like they did here in the Region 6 tournament, they can do some damage. So the Dragons are Region 6 runners-up. Mike Sadler the Region 6 director, talking with Ryan Schmidt. Great effort by the Dragons. They finished 5-1 in elimination games. 2 of those coming on their home field after Labette took the opening round 4-3. And then the Blue Dragons won the next 2, got to Wichita. Run ruled Fort Scott. Lost to Cowley 12-8. And then the frantic Friday that many of these kids are never going to forget. I know Logan Sartori and Ryan Moritz won't. They had the walk-off hits. I know Riley Metzger won't. Going to get the handshake. Both teams now, their fans up on their feet, applauding the efforts of their teams. So Ryan Schmidt completes his 7th year, getting to as close to Grand Junction as he ever has. 3rd last year, 2nd this year. And a lot to build on, even though there's going to be a lot of sophomores to replace. I know the Blue Dragons are high on their incoming players. You get a transfer here and there. Who knows, we might be right back here 1 year from now with another chance to go to Grand Junction.
You know, one of the neat things about these these handshake lines, Carp, is you see these young men who, a lot of them come from the surrounding states and throughout Kansas. So they've grown up for the last 8 or 10 or more years playing against each other. And you see a lot of handshakes, you see a lot of hugs, a lot of guys reconnecting, and great sportsmanship by both sides. When Coach Schmidt now.
We're about ready to have the ceremony. The Dragons will get first the trophy being presented. We're going to try to get the all-tournament team. I believe Sartori, Nedved, Metzger will be on it. So the Dragons will finish the year with a record of 44-21. Again, that will be 4th most in team history. Conference co-champions, Region 6 runner-up. Not sure what the delay is. Or have they started to announce the all-tournament team? Oh, they're championship shirts. Okay, let's see that. So, oh, okay. There's going to be a little ceremony for the bracket to be completed.
Well, Carp, while we're waiting for the other festivities, I just want to say thank you for letting me join you once again. It's been a great season. You know, you never want it to end this way, but one step closer. I think that bodes well for the future. And look forward to hanging out with you again in the Hobart Debtor Press Box all summer long with the Monarchs.
You bet.
Starting again next season with the Blue Dragons. I'm going to sign off here and run downstairs and say hey to some of the guys and some of the folks. You talk about a Blue Dragon family, and it truly becomes that because you get to know the parents and
You bet.
and the young men. And, it's going to sink in with many of them now that for some, they won't put on a uniform again.
Right.
But they'll never put this one on. So, Carp, thank you. Thanks to Brandon and Cherie for helping out with the video again tonight. I'm going to run downstairs, and we will see you back in Hutch, back at the office on Monday.
You betcha. Thank you so much, Danny Steckline, for all you do for us. Danny Steckline. Just waiting on the all-conference team to be announced. And working on some totals. The totals for the game for Cowley, 14 runs, 10 hits, no errors, 10 left on base. For the Dragons, 1 run, 5 hits, 1 error, 8 left on. The winning pitcher is Miguel Obeso. He goes to 5-0. Dawson Linder takes the loss. He falls to 2-1 in a game time of 3 hours and 15 minutes. Again, still waiting on the all-tournament team, but I might not wait much longer. Jayhawk Productions are talking with Dave Burrows. And I'm not sure why we're not getting to the all-tournament team. But it's been a great year for Hutchinson. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of growing pains for this team. They really didn't find themselves until when the month of April rolled around and finally things started happening. It really kind of started off that Sunday afternoon against the Pratt Beavers, where Will Reeds had the walk-off home run in extra innings of the first game, and then the double play with the tying run being gunned down at the plate for that sweep. So the Dragons wrapping things up, and I think now we're going to get to the all-tournament team. I think I might know where another list is. Indeed it is. So I will get the all-tournament team as they're being announced. So on the all-tournament team, the pitchers will be 2 from Cowley, Brandon Jordan and Andrew Roach. Easton Smith from Barton, with his tremendous effort, was the pitcher from Barton, his tremendous effort against Johnson County. In the outfield, Riley Metzger from Hutchinson, Anthony McAngelo from Johnson County, and Grady Davenport from Cowley. Those are your outfielders. The catcher is Cody Milligan from Cowley. And on the infield, Matt Cootney from Colby, Jackson Deedle from Cloud County, Logan Sartori from Hutchinson, Dylan Nedbed from Hutchinson, and the most outstanding player is Cowley's Cody Milligan. So Sartori, Nedved, and Metzger are on the all-tournament team. Congratulations to them. Just another honor for those three. A very successful sophomore class. They get into the final 3 of the region in both years. They have a conference championship. Many players finishing in the top 10. So the Dragons have another successful year under 7th-year head coach Ryan Schmidt, and this program continues to go up. And it'll be a tremendous season in 2019. I think that's going to wrap it up. Dragons fall in the finals 14-1. Again, when you talk about this tournament, everybody's going to talk about what happened yesterday, the 2 walk-offs. A lot of ups and downs come with it. And unfortunately, only one team can win, but there's 2 teams left standing, and Hutchinson was one of them. And with track wrapping up today, golf yesterday, the 2018-19 athletic season at Hutchinson Community College has officially come to a close. I want to thank my video guru, Brandon Sams. His wife, Sheree, running the controls all week. It is a little bit of a sad time, but that's the way sports is. There's only can be one winner. Thanks to you guys both. Thanks to all you for listening in all season long. That'll wrap it up for 2019. The Dragons are Region 6 runner-up, 44-21 record. We will talk to you again sometime next August when we get going with football and volleyball and women's soccer. It won't be that long before it's all here. On behalf of Cherie and Brandon, Denny Steckline, Steve Carpenter from Eck Stadium, thanks for joining us all season long on the Blue Dragon Sports Network. We will talk to you again next year. Until then, so long, everybody.